It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be a bit awkward.
I think we should get spicy, get sassy, say some things that everyone's like, you can't say that.
Niamh?
Yeah, okay. It is going to be a bit awkward. We're going to need to warm into it.
Okay, all right. So let's get all loosey-goosey.
Okay.
I'm
going to take off my jumper.
Oh, yeah, John's taking the jumper off.
No, god damn it.
We can see his shape. I can see his elbows. And a hint of a tattoo.
You can see a hint of a tattoo. It was covered up.
No, I see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, the other one. I've seen that.
Just because I showed you.
No, it's because I climbed up a ladder, looked in the window, and I saw it.
You just showed me. You just flashed it.
That's a weird way of putting it.
Really on your body, but okay.
He was like, take this, Niamh.
You're like, have a titty.
Yeah.
No, I said, Niamh, can I show you a tattoo? And you were like, yeah.
That's not how I remember.
Okay, alright. So, I have gone down, not like a full deep dive, but let's just say like a little wade in the shallow pool of celebrity impersonators.
Okay.
Alright, okay.
Right.
And they do weddings. So I was talking to Rebecca.
Interesting.
So I was talking to Rebecca and I was like, which celebrity impersonator do you want at your wedding? And she was like, oh no. And so, okay, it's divided into two sides. You have real people that are larger than life, like Elvis Presley.
Okay.
Or
but definitely dead.
They
well,
don't.
No. Definitely. That's a gray area, Niamh.
Okay. Or like Dolly Parton.
Okay.
Or fictional characters like Austin Powers or Cruella de Vil. Okay, so here are some...
I feel like Cruella de Vil would really bring the mood down.
No, up.
Okay, and so they are not present during the wedding ceremony, but this is like the party, where the food's being served and the dance. And
Niamh,
they're there to warm up the crowd.
Give me an example of how Cruella is going to raise the room.
Okay, I am at an Irish wedding, so already we're starting at zero. And I walk into a room, there's double doors, there is a lounging area, and there's a woman in a giant fur coat, kind of a little haggard looking, but also a little super put together. She's wearing her red gloves, she has a long cigarette, and she is smoking.
I
feel like this is like a Niamh,
is that not elevated?
This isn't.
I know, but I feel really, really bad for your wife.
No, my everyone loves it at this. I
keep
saying that. I was like, no, everyone loves it.
I feel like you just described exactly what it was without answering the question whatsoever.
I just think that's a sight, and maybe it will make people's parents nervous, and they'll be like, "Oh, hello, Miss DeVille."
So, the best thing about these celebrities impersonators is they look terrible. They do not look like who they're supposed to be playing, and maybe from far away you're like, yeah, that's Tony Soprano, but as you get closer you're like, that's not Tony Soprano, that's just a man with a cigar and a bowling shirt.
I'd love to hire 10 different Austin Powers impersonators and just send them to the one restaurant and just tell them all that the second you get there, just start doing your thing and just sit there and watch what happens.
Some of the most popular ones are Ace Ventura.
Oh, of course.
Also the Grinch, played by Jim Carrey. So there's a lot of Jim Carrey characters. Some Mike Myers, like Austin Powers. There's a Shrek, which is...
Is the human Shrek or just a man in a green outfit?
Man in a green outfit doing the Scottish accent.
Okay.
A lot of Queen Elizabeth II for some reason.
But they're real popular in Irish.
You get Walter White a lot because that's an easy one to do. Yeah. And he has enough visual traits.
You shave your head, you wear some glasses, you grow a beard, you put a plaster over the nose.
Yeah. And you just say your lines. Saul Goodman's doing well for himself. There's a lot of fake Saul Goodmans.
Sure.
And he can be like, hey, I'm here for the wedding and I'm here for the divorce. I'm Saul Goodman. You can...
Sounds like you've been workshopping some material, Brian.
Yeah. So who do you guys want to be as your celebrity? And so it can be a real or fictional.
So who do we want at our wedding?
Or who do you want to be?
If we had to take a career turn and become celebrity impersonators?
Yeah. Can
you be Seth Rogen?
Why not? I really want to be Seth Rogen from Knocked Up. Specifically that guy, and he's like, fuck you, you're not pregnant. And just say that a whole bunch.
Who would you be, Niamh?
That or Superbad, depending which one.
I'd probably just go Enya.
Sure.
I could do it. Just
That's a good one.
yeah, I could do Enya.
You want to do Star Wars?
Who would I do at Star Wars?
I don't know.
Yeah, fucking Ray, just grow a little ponytail. I don't know.
Yeah, just go as Ray. Remember Ray from Star Wars?
Queen Amidala, I don't know. Just put a bunch of
I could
makeup
do
on.
Yeah,
Queen
just do
Amidala with a
Padme.
bunch of makeup.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's such an electrifying personality.
Yeah.
She would just do great at weddings. John.
I have no idea.
Ken.
Who?
Ken.
From Barbie and
Yeah.
Ken?
That's a bit too new.
Michelle said I look like an emo Ken. For sure, I'll do that. You'd need a Barbie though, right?
Or do you want to? Well, I keep looking at the hair now but you could just bleach your hair. Whatever. You could be like Eminem if you wanted.
I guess so. I haven't put toner in a while, so it has gone kind of like blondie blonde.
I could do Eminem.
You could do Eminem.
You could do Eminem,
You
totally.
absolutely could do
Yeah.
Eminem.
Sometimes I do those celebrity face match things, and it always gives me Eminem, and then I go,
Really?
"Well, I'm not sharing that."
That's so weird. Wow.
God, I'd love a fake Austin Powers.
We can do that, Brian.
And
I
like-
bet it doesn't even cost that much.
Like a real shit one.
Like maybe we can like type in Austin Powers and then change the filter to sort by price, lowest to highest, and just hire like the bottom 5. I bet we could do that for less than a month's Patreon. Okay, how many Austin Powers impersonators could we hire with a month's Patreon?
Can you check that?
They're like €100 a night.
Really, that's so little to kind of just
So 15 Austin
be
Powers.
a clown for a night. I feel like clowns make more money than that.
They do, but they have supplies.
I feel like clowns would have like a union or something.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. It's a very, very old practice.
And I bet clowns think impersonators are fucking idiots.
I went to a county fair the other weekend. I saw a clown there,
Oh, sick.
and he was like real fucked up looking. Like I'm talking like Joaquin Phoenix Joker levels of fucked up looking clown. Like he had red hair, but it was like slicked back red
no.
hair. You know, like bright bleached red hair, and he had like cartoon sound effect dungarees. But when he saw him up close, he was not a happy clown, and not like a painted sad unhappy clown, just like a miserable human as a clown.
So I've noticed on like TikTok, especially lately, like sexy e-girl clown has become a real subgenre.
Yeah, Plussy.
But okay, yes. But before her, I actually said I said this to your Rebecca. Like, I'm working on something of which a sexy female clown is involved. I will not say anything more about it. But a couple of months ago, I started to notice the trend. And I was like, this is fucking weird. And then I was talking to you, Rebecca, about it, Brian.
Yeah.
And then Clussy happened weeks later, and it's like, wow.
Okay, is Clussy? I know what it is, but like, is it a specific character or is it just clown makeup, like e-girl clown makeup?
It's an overlap where it's snowballed into this. It's the e-girl clowns on TikTok kind of setting the foundation for sexy clowns, and also that Bishoujo Stephen King's What's the name of the clown?
It.
Pennywise.
Yeah.
And there's a Bishoujo figure of Pennywise, isn't there?
Yep.
And that's a pretty good figure.
Yep.
So that kind of set the foundations as well as TikTok. But then there was the meme of the Phoenix Wright 3DS game, but it's the DLC where you have to protect or defend a whale who works at a circus. I think that's the...
And I think someone did a fan animation of Phoenix Wright, like a silly Phoenix Wright animation, really well animated. And then that clown, the sexy Phoenix Wright clown, was in it for a couple of seconds, and everyone lost their minds.
And then looked at the source material and realized it was there all along.
That's the thing. I thought, oh wow, this animator's OC is really sexy. And then then Rebecca sent me the source footage, and I was like, what the fuck?
It turns out later they're balloons.
Seriously.
And they pop.
Hey, whatever you need to do to feel body confidence, right?
No.
Yeah, Neve, yeah. If that's what that girl needs, you don't have the right to tell her no.
I don't think that's what that is.
That's what feminism is, Neve. Welcome to Let's Fight a Boss, the world's strongest video game podcast. I am sitting here with two of the most hilarious clowns that there's ever been. Brian, do a honk noise. That was his nose.
It wasn't.
It's Rainbow Tissues himself. It's Brian.
Here, blow into this.
And to my right, master of the inflatable dog. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Is that a thing? Neve? It's Neve.
Honk, honk.
Okay.
And that wasn't her nose either.
Yeah. With you always, barely remembering how to do this because it's been a minute, it's John.
Are you a clown?
Oh, yeah, I am. So many ways.
So like Sextina the Clown
was a fucking trendsetter that was not... I want to put it on record, I was always a huge Sextina advocate on this podcast.
Turns out we all wanted some Clossie.
Yep.
Especially Neve.
Especially Neve.
Oh.
Okay, I feel loosened up now.
Okay, I got one more little story.
Yeah.
What's wrong, Neve?
Go on, John. Okay, everyone. This is a new segment called John's Confession.
No, it's not a confession.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
It's not. It's okay.
It has been...
You guys have been... Everyone's been getting these, like... I'm maybe this is an Ireland thing, I don't know. Everyone's been getting these like calls where they're trying to scam you out of something, and it's really, really transparent. I like those calls because sometimes I'm waiting for rendering, and so I just keep the person talking as long as I can. And I have different characters I like to do, and it's fun. And I got a call from a girl recently, and she was a really polite, nice-sounding girl, but she was doing the whole thing. And I was an old man, and what I like to do is I like to put on an old man voice and be like, yes... hello, and then I'll let her get like 3/4 of the way into a sentence, and then I'll be like, Scarlet, get down from there, Scarlet, and I'll just I'll be like, sorry, that's my cat Scarlet, she's very bold altogether. And I had this woman on the call for half an hour. The way I do it is like they get you to download an app, and so they'll say that, and I'll be like, oh, it's already at 50%. And they'll say that straight away. And then I'll be like, oh, it's... Then like, I'll just talk to them about anything I want. I'll tell them about, like, my fake grandkids. And then, like, 5 minutes later, I'll be like, oh, it's at 75% now. But every time it gets slower and slower. So eventually, like, 95.4.
Are you? And you're definitely not downloading these things? You're
Oh
just
god,
pretending.
no.
Okay.
No. I get to the point in the app store where I can see the app they're talking about. But the reason I like doing Old Man and his cat Scarlet is that eventually I can be like, Scarlet's very bold. You won't believe what I caught her doing the other day. I came in and she had the phone out and she was pretending to be a representative from Amazon services and was trying to scam people out of money. And this girl who I'd been talking to on the phone for like half an hour, she goes quiet for a second and real polite. She had an accent. I'm not going to do her accent, but she just goes, okay, I'd like to tell you a story of mine. The other day I went to the supermarket and there was this woman there and everyone in the whole supermarket was fucking her. And that woman was your mother.
Oh my god.
Damn.
I mean, like, fuck this lady, but also, well, yeah, great. That was kind of cool. That was a fun comeback.
Entertained me.
Yeah.
I think you should report it to the manager.
Oh, I just said to her, well, I'll have to check with Eileen, but I don't think that happened.
It's really funny.
Yeah, I really want to record some of these calls because they really are like, they're very amusing. But I've hit the punchline before, the cats scamming people punchline.
And they don't get hear it.
They just don't care. They're just like, is the app downloaded yet?
Yeah.
And that's not fun because then I have to be like, this is my actual voice. You know what's happening here. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, I know you're but then a lot of them do get cursy. They'll be like, I know you're a fucking idiot. And they'll hang up.
Jesus. I love watching the YouTube videos about the scam centers getting
they're great.
shut down.
Oh, what's your man's name? Joseph Browning or something like that?
Just Jim Browning or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And then Mark Rober collaborates with him.
Yeah.
Because like one is high energy and then the other guy is very dry, but they work together and collaborate and they make these really interesting videos.
I wish he'd get creepier with it. because sometimes like he can see them on security cameras, and I'm like, dude, fucking like be like, that's a nice red sweater you're wearing, but he never does, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Sorry, yeah, Jim Browning.
Yep, he's great. He is super fun to listen to. But oh man, I guess we got to start recounting all the media. We've been away. Multiple things. Little Nevy, COVID. Little Johnny, COVID. Little Bryony, undisputed, untouchable champ, baby.
Sure.
Yep, Brian.
I'll take it.
Yep, Brian has been the only one of us that avoided the COVID. COVID's not fun.
No, I had gotten over COVID, and then I got a cold that gave me a chest infection because I wasn't fully over COVID.
Did you have the chest infection before or after QCon?
Before QCon.
Oh, yeah, that seemed rough.
It was a bad time. I was like totally COVID free at that stage.
Oh yeah, no,
but
I know.
It was just like, I don't know. I feel like I've just been sick for like this entire year.
So when I got back from London, I got like the worst cold I've ever got because we don't have immune systems anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
It sucks. But yeah, guys, I watched Mad God.
I know about this. I've been meaning to watch this. This is from Phil Tippett.
Yep.
Who's a stop motion animator, director, and he was the dinosaur supervisor on Jurassic Park. And the joke is that he wasn't a very good dinosaur supervisor.
Brian, shut up.
It's pretty good. So he
What? Hang on.
Because they all got out.
Oh, that's pretty good. I was like, oh, you're referring to the fact that he specializes in stop motion, and in that film they switched over to 3D, and no.
Yeah, but no. They still used all his work as reference because
he could really act like a dinosaur.
He could.
Yeah. Mad God is a movie that this guy has been working on for, I think, since Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's say 30 years.
Yeah, something absolutely insane like that. He got a bunch of like, it's gone through all these different iterations where at some points it was just something he would bring like in college interns to work on. At some point it was a Kickstarter, it was all this thing. And now it's finally out and you can watch it. It's on Shudder. This movie rules. It's really cool. There is such a feeling of like blame from this movie in that it is, I think it's actually I don't think there's a single line of dialogue. It's like 80 minutes and there's no dialogue. And it's just this human figure making their way through this horrifying dystopia. But like I say dystopia, this place is like, imagine like if a nuclear bomb hit Yarnum and then you wait 200 years. There's just so many instances where he'll be walking around and he'll peek in through a little cracked window and the most fucked up thing ever will be happening. And it's not the story, he just continues on his path. It's like a complete nightmare. It's like God went insane. Like that's the whole idea. It's just horrifying, but in a really like artistic and fun way. There's a lot of really like squelchy, gross gore in it that I find really fun. I'm sure some people, not their thing, right? But it's super worth watching because it's one of those things where there's nothing like this, and like I wasn't bored at all for the entire thing. I think it's weird. People's mileage is going to vary, but it's, you know, it's a film that sells itself completely on its sound and its visuals and just the fucking crushing like nightmare that this world is it's great. It's really, really fun. It's cathartic in a way that I think you only get from really abstract weird horror, and this achieves that 100% for me.
Is the film like Angel's Egg as well?
Yeah, that's one of the things I would compare it to.
It's like kind of a cross section of this world, and it's a day in the life kind of thing.
What happens?
It's the worst day of your life.
Yeah. What happens? I don't know. Did you enjoy it? Yeah.
It's a vibe.
It's the whole film is a vibe. But yeah, Angel's Egg is a really, really good comparison.
And when you reference Blame, John means the manga.
I have not watched that yet. Is it bad?
Well, I just mean in general, because you just said it's like Blame.
Oh yeah, but like Blame.
But I don't think some people don't know what Blame is.
Yeah,
with the exclamation mark.
Blame is a manga that myself and Neve enjoy quite a bit, and it's pretty much just like this one person making their way across this dystopian, very grim dystopian It's not even a landscape.
Visually
Like, what
dense,
is it, Neve?
I don't know, industrial, organic nightmare mess.
Imagine an awful factory went on forever and was haunted by machine ghosts. That's what Blame is. And there's an element of that to this. Like, it's very... There's a lot of imagery in it that's very, like, nuclear.
Yeah.
You know? And...
Could you figure out what, like, the stuff was made from, or was it just very wet?
A lot of wet stuff, but, like, this is clearly stuff that, like, people are putting their hands on. Like, so there's a lot of... there's a lot of... I don't even know the names of any of the materials, but...
Resin.
I'm sure there's a huge amount of resin in it.
There's gel.
But then occasionally there will actually be, like, people in it. And I feel that's where you could maybe feel the kind of... the limitations and the struggle to get this film made, because I'm sure at one point that was all stop motion. But there are parts where they use people. And I think there is one creature in it, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it's at least partially CGI.
Okay.
But if you like fucked up creatures, this thing is so full of them. Like, for a while, it just focuses on this, like, weird little, like, bottled city of sand and the awful spider creatures that live there and the weird gnomes they feed on. And then they just move on. It's
Sounds
cool.
good.
It's I would really be curious to see what you guys think of it. But I would totally recommend it. Really, really interesting. Neve, let's talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obo Bonobo.
Obo Bonobo.
So as I was watching it, I took some very quick notes each episode. So we talked about episode 1 first, the last time we did this podcast. It might have been the last time.
Sounds about right.
So episode 2, and there's going to be spoilers here. So if you haven't seen the Obi-Wan series, don't.
Yeah, don't.
So episode 2, there is another Leia chase scene for whatever reason.
The child is so fast.
I don't know why it didn't work in the first episode, but they did it again. There's just so much weird continuity stuff in this. In the second episode, Obi-Wan breaks into like a spice, like drug factory, and he just looks at the factory. Then the next scene, he has goggles and he has all the clothes, and it's like, I don't need everything to be explained, but this series spends so much time like filling in little lore gaps that no one ever wanted filled in, that then when you do something like he's just managed to infiltrate it, which would be the interesting part of that, you know, narrative happening on screen, it just like it skips any of that struggle, and he's just there, you know. And I found continuity stuff like that was such a whole issue with this series. So little Leia runs away. She's on the rooftops. She falls and Obi-Wan catches her with the Force. And then there's another continuity jump where he's just on the ground, and it doesn't show him get off the building, doesn't need to, but the cut is from him saving her from the roof, and then all of a sudden he's back on the ground with her. It's just like, it's like, you do not need to know anything about cinema or shot composition to know that this feels really shoddy.
It sounds like something that's really shoddy or massively overworked.
Third sister in this is chasing Obi-Wan, but it's one of those things where...
Third sister, has she ever been in anything before?
Yeah, she's one of the Inquisitors, and her big thing is in this series. So
and
Inquisitors
there's
have
other
been...
sisters in like the second sisters in Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
But they're part of like the growing up of Order 66, and they're Jedi hunters.
Okay.
Yeah. So third sister, who is an Inquisitor, is chasing Obi-Wan, and she's just doing the sweetest flips all across these rooftops, but these are the same rooftops that child Leia has been jumping, so she doesn't need to do the sweet flips. They seem extremely superfluous, and it's kind of like, you want this character to feel cool, but like, it's kind of like, I think you'd get faster there.
I really didn't like her, and I wanted to.
But I'll get to it in the end. So the one thing I liked about this episode is third sister shouts out to Obi-Wan that Anakin is still alive, and Obi-Wan's face is great. Like, he has this whole moment, and like, I don't know why, but I never really thought about Obi-Wan not knowing that Anakin was Vader.
Yeah, so like, he left him to die, and he thought he'd left him to die and put a neat little bow on that, I guess. And because he can't kill him, but he left him for dead.
Yeah, like he was super dead.
And then 10 years later finds out he's still alive.
So Ewan McGregor sold that moment. I thought his face was pretty good. His just reaction to it was really like, It felt very pained, but like it's like Ewan McGregor's entire facial journey holding up an entire boring episode, you know? And like throughout all I've been watching the series, people are telling me, oh, next episode gets better, next episode gets better. You get to IGN and IGN were like, the entire season was worth it for the last episode. No.
I did see people losing their minds over the last episode.
I just think that's bullcrap. And the idea that you have to watch 5 bad hours of TV to get to 1 good hour TV is just ridiculous. But it wasn't good. It was just more stuff happens. It's not better. It's not better made. The writing isn't better. It's just more action is happening.
The show can't take any risks because all these characters need to be alive for A New Hope. They can't deviate from the main plot.
But
love stories where nothing happens.
But then it's just like, why write stuff like that? Like the last episode hinges on a noble sacrifice plot from Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan! Noble sacrifice. We know he's not gonna die. Why do that? And Leia's like, will I ever see? Yeah, you'll see her again. Ugh, it's really frustrating. Okay.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. I have wrote down, I liked when Vader burned Obi-Wan. So this is the first time Obi-Wan and Vader see each other. Before this, Obi-Wan has a vision of Anakin, and I really liked that little vision scene. It was super corny. He just like saw Anakin in his robe, and it was kind of like, you know, the gender ambiguous Satan from Passion of the Christ. It's just like kind of looking at him out through the robe, and Obi-Wan being like, "Oh, visions of Anakin." So I liked when Vader grabbed Obi-Wan and just burnt and rubbed him in fire like you would rub a dog in pee. I wouldn't do that to a dog. He
grinded him a bit.
Sounds erotic.
But like
he sanded his face down.
It was just like, it felt petty in a way that I felt Vader would do.
He was Darth Vader like a nerd.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
There was a Mole Man design. I thought his design looked cool, but that was about as much as I can say.
I really like that character. He was interesting in that, like, he was a like civilian alien farmer kind of character who lived a very simple life, but his politics were he thought the Empire were good. And I don't think I've ever seen a Star Wars character that had bad politics but wasn't like in uniform representing the bad politics. It's just like it was a guy from Middle America who voted for the wrong president. Like it was just that character.
Biden.
But yeah, it's a fucking mole man. with like a star nose.
And again, a load more continuity issues. Like there is a traitor among the troopers' ranks. There is an Imperial officer who is actually a resistance member who is there, and
the woman who plays her played Illyria Sand in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Who was married to Pedro Pascal's character in the show, and he plays the Mandalorian. So
there you go. Thanks,
small
Brian.
world.
Oh, yeah, there was loads of whispering in this where people can clearly hear the whispering, but they're gonna do it anyway. So Imperial Officer goes in and she goes into Vader's base, and and she's just spending a lot of time talking to Obi-Wan on a little recorder, and she's whispering into it in a room full of Imperial guards, telling him how to get into the building. And like, it's like loud whispering. It's just like, yeah, you can break in. And like, why do that? Why put her in a room with everyone who can hear her? It's really demanding you to just be like, I guess it's magic that they can't fucking hear her.
So someone wrote that.
It's a very good script.
And then they were like, where does this scene take place? And they're like, this room. Well, that doesn't really make sense, but listen, we all want to be home by 5. Yeah,
just have her step outside the room. Like, why? And it's just like, it's moments like that are just extremely, extremely frustrating. So that was my note on episode 4. Just the walkie-talkie stuff was super annoying. Episode 5, we get Third Sister's backstory. And this is where, when you look at this plot written down, it is an interesting plot. So Third Sister, turns out she is a youngling from when... Shut up, John. Don't laugh at Star Wars.
From the Jedi.
I'm sorry, whenever I hear youngling, like, just George Lucas crossed out the word child and wrote youngling under it, and then we all have to say
it. It's a child who's in training, John.
I know what it is.
Youngling.
No, clearly you don't. So we find out that Third Sister was a youngling during the night that Anakin came and slaughtered all the younglings. And for some reason, she faked her death. I think he kind of let her live. It was kind of suggested that he kind of knew she was kind of alive and kind of walked away from her or whatever.
Yeah, and that she had potential for the dark side.
Yeah. And her plan is to work for Vader in an attempt to get close to him, to kill him as revenge. That conceptually, good.
It's fun.
Love it. In execution, it doesn't come across at all.
Yeah, it's got this one bit where she has the sneak on him, and she screams and throws her lightsaber at him, and he turns around because he heard her scream.
And just before that even happens, her and Obi-Wan kind of make a weak alliance where he's first like, I can't go with the resistance, I'll endanger them. I'll have to run away from them. And like the Imperial officer who was undercover died to get him there, and she had a moment with the droid that I think they loved each other.
Her death is one of the most cliched shit. So her death is the thing, John, where the character closes the blast doors and then has the grenade, and it's the sacrifice that blows herself up and some of the enemies. Mm-hmm. It's really, really original storytelling.
Cool.
Yeah, so Obi-Wan, because of that, he gets away. But then he's just like, no, I gotta go back. And then he has a whisper conversation with Third Sister through a metal door with her with the troopers all behind her. And she's like, yeah, they're like plotting to work together to kill Vader.
That's not when she's blown up.
No, this is not the Imperial officer.
Okay.
This is Third Sister.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
And also Leia's going around the vents and she's doing stuff
very slowly in the vents.
Yeah,
I love children in vents.
And for some reason, the rapper Ice Cube, his son, is there, and he's just standing around telling people what to do.
Oh, that's who that is.
Yeah,
God, he really looks like him.
Yeah, O'Shea Jackson Jr. And then Maya Erskine from Pen 15 is there. There are actors in this show that don't do anything.
Yeah. Ugh.
I guess they're just like, I'll be in Star Wars.
And the thing is, they can do stuff and it won't affect A New Hope because they're not in A New Hope. But Obi-Wan, he can't do anything.
And they're just left to just kind of espouse crap. Like, he has a conversation, that actor...
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Yeah, has a conversation with Obi-Wan, and he was just like...
He's a cool character.
And he's just like, you want to go back for him. You clearly have, a relationship with him. And it's just like, how do you know this? And it's just like, it's just for the audience. We know they have a relationship. It's like all the characters are talking about the show and not to each other. Like, there's no natural dialogue.
Sure.
I'm glad everyone read the script and know how things are gonna go.
Kumail Nanjiani was alright in it.
Oh, his character again was just so useless. He just existed to
but
drop
he had
something.
He had a really shitty arc. Good for him.
They do a bit of flashback, and this is, and I was like, okay, I was into this because it's a flashback to Padawan Anakin fighting Obi-Wan, and they're fighting each other.
And he's got the braid.
And he has the braid, and they're fighting each other on like I think it's probably Naboo or somewhere, on a.
It really looks like a prequel
balcony.
Background.
Yeah, it's prequel-y, and they're fighting each other, and they're having a conversation that is literally, you see, Anakin, your problem's too angry, and then Anakin's like, I'm not too angry, you're too weak, and Obi-Wan, it's your anger that blinds you. Like, it's the most, we get it.
I really, really hate in anything when two people are fighting and have a conversation. You can't do that.
Like, we get what
I've tried, you can't.
And it's just like, it's really unnecessary conversation. Sure. But what I don't get about this, and I was like really excited. I was like, oh my god, he's there. He's like it's Anakin. Oh. I was like having a fangirl moment. And then my girlfriend next to me goes, he looks like dear Ivan Hansen.
He really looks like he's got the forehead line smoothed out.
Oh.
And I was just like, what? And I like it's like the room like suddenly like pulled back, and I just saw how old he looked. And like, he still looks great because it's like Hayden Christensen, he looks amazing, but it was just like,
he's aged real well.
When he's a Padawan, that is the youngest he is as Hayden Christensen, that is like, he is not the boy actor, he is Hayden Christensen.
And that was filmed 20 years ago.
And that is when he is his youngest. Why not do Revenge of the Sith Anakin, where he's the long hair and you could hide it a bit better?
Yeah, and he's got a scar in his eye at that point.
Yeah, why not do Clone Wars like Anakin?
Yeah, because it's pre-Clone Wars.
Yeah, because it's like, it's pre all of that, like. And I had a high that came crashing down very, very quickly. And I'll wrap this up because I know people who don't care about Star Wars don't care about this at all. And I'm
it's
sorry.
Wars talk. You talk as long as you want.
Yeah. And episode 6, the Obi-Wan planning to do a noble sacrifice. Like, we know Obi-Wan lives, who cares? He keeps saying to Leia, you're 10 years old, but you won't always be.
He's right!
Alluding to the fact that she will be older.
Someday you will be adult woman.
And that's just really annoying.
Time will happen.
Yeah. Oh. You will be bigger and you will wear different clothes.
Obi-Wan and Vader fight. So this is the moment that everyone's like saying it's worth it. And it looks cool, I gotta say. They're on a planet and it's got some nice like wide shots. They're walking towards each other. Anakin is like such a little brat and he basically buries Obi-Wan alive by throwing rocks at him.
Yeah.
And I really like that because I like this kind of like, you know, like that leaning into Anakin being like bratty and impulsive kind of thing. So I liked him burying Obi-Wan with rocks. Obi-Wan gets out of it and then pelts Anakin with rocks again, which felt too petty for Obi-Wan, but I think it was like, I can give it back to you kind of thing. Obi-Wan wins the fight, which I think is bullshit.
Because the thing is, if he wins, he should just finish the job, but he can't, because Alderaan has to be destroyed and it's his fault.
There's a whole thing in, you know, Star Wars fan communities where in the original trilogy, Obi-Wan tells Luke that Darth Vader killed his father. And like fans always interpret this moment as like once Anakin went over the dark side, he became Darth Vader and that's when Anakin died.
A metaphorical killing.
Yeah.
They spend a whole bunch of time with Anakin literally saying, when I became Darth Vader, I died, like Anakin died. But it's also Anakin Darth Vader acknowledging that Anakin exists as well. So it was like, okay, he's saying everything he should be saying from a fan perspective. But it felt very much like they've just been reading Reddit and fan subs and...
Yeah, Star Wars.
Well, I think I think it's generally whenever there's like a metaphor in media, it's best to just explain it very literally afterwards.
Oh, yeah. I did like when Obi-Wan slashed his helmet and they had the mix of the James Earl Jones voice and Hayden Christensen's.
Oh, that's fun.
And it's alternating
cool.
between like his voice and the modulator, because the modulator is like acting up.
That's deadly.
And they did a good mix between the two.
Yeah, I like that too.
And the makeup underneath is really good because it is Hayden Christensen, but you've never seen him like look like Sebastian Shaw did
the Vader
at the end
egg.
of Return of the Jedi. And it's a good kind of like blend between the two of how he does get more mutilated. And
Hayden Christensen does a really good job of looking fucked up. Like, he did it at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Like, he just looked so messed up and so in pain, and like Obi-Wan smashes Vader's like voice recorder box and he's all like out of breath and he's like "Rrr." And like he looks really like fucked up, and Obi-Wan leaves him there to die. This is why I thought it was kind of weird that Obi-Wan won, because you would think from this moment on, like, Vader would be relentless in his chase of Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan lives like as a hermit from this point on.
Yeah, and Vader goes home, licks his wounds, and talks to Palpatine and says, "You're my master now." And it was like, yeah, you've had a relationship for the last 10 years where he's your master.
Yeah.
And I think it was that moment was also used because, like, Palpatine was like, "You seem a little obsessed with Obi-Wan," and then Vader has to be like, "No, I'm not. I'm actually not." And that's why he didn't go chase him down all that time. I think it would have worked a bit better if it wouldn't have been as, like, I don't know, final, I guess, if Vader had won the battle. But I think it was just very out of character.
Did you like the like last 2 minutes when Qui-Gon shows up?
No, because he clearly just wasn't there.
No.
Like, why?
They filmed Liam Neeson on a phone
Yeah.
in Northern Ireland, and they just shot it, and they were like, there you go.
And it's just like, Obi-Wan's like, yeah, like, finally you show up, and you're like, okay. And like then for that episode is also split between like the actual important shit, with his Obi-Wan versus Vader, and then also with like Reva, the third sister, going to track down and kill Luke for some weird reason.
Little 10-year-old Luke Skywalker, and apparently he doesn't remember any of this, but he did get chased by like a Sith officer when he was 10 and nearly died.
But he got away.
Yeah.
The children in this show are so fast.
Oh, he didn't get away. Luke is slower than Leia. He got a bang in the head.
He banged his head and forgot about it.
Yeah.
And like she almost kills him, but then has a change of heart and then gives him back to Uncle Owen. And he's like, what the fuck am I supposed to... Who are you now?
Yeah, like, do we invite you in for tea? Like, it was so weird.
Like, he was like, thank you, fuck off.
Yeah.
Because you did try to kidnap this poor fucking kid.
And it was just really weird from her to be like, yeah, I want to go fight Vader. And it was just like, oh, she had this moment, I guess, where she could turn into Vader. But she literally flew to another planet to murder a child out of spite because her plan didn't go well. And this also has that problem I hate in all these shows where Third Sister gets stabbed in the stomach, the leader of the Inquisitor gets stabbed in the stomach by her, both live.
Oh yeah, it's
like
fine.
They're both death blows. You're meant to think they have died, and then later on they are not dead. And
I really like Rupert Friend as that guy.
Yeah, who's pretty good.
Because he's also in Homeland, and he's my favorite.
But this is the thing. Again, if you list this plot out, all very good on paper. You look at the actors, all very good actors. It just came together as a giant mess.
It made me like Rogue One more.
Yeah, I like Rogue One.
Yeah, I think I appreciate it more after time has gone and, you know, the bar has been lowered and and you realize Rogue One's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
I
Rogue One is
barely
pretty good.
remember Rogue One, but I remember like I had a pretty okay time with it.
And I guess that Han Solo movie takes place at the same time as this TV series because Han Solo is like about 10 years older than Luke and Leia, let's say. Mm-hmm. So it's just it's very interesting to see what's going on in different portions of the galaxy at this time and place. Because it seems
I'm not sure it sounds that interesting, Brian.
No, it's not. It's just a lot of poor decisions.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a real strong recommendation. News what I'm hearing.
I don't know. It's just like something you're kind of like you've always. I feel stupid for wanting it because it could only have gone this way with Disney Star Wars, you know what I mean? But it's something I always wanted. I was like, I hope they do more prequel stuff. And now I'm like, ugh, like monkey paw, like don't. I
mean,
I
that
hope they
happens
don't.
with so much stuff. Like it's so like, well, I'm the idiot for wanting this.
Yeah.
I really want to know if they'll do a part 2.
Have you watched all the Star Wars TV shows, Neve?
No, I haven't watched Boba Fett one.
It's alright. It's fine in places.
Boba Fett, it doesn't interest me.
Sure.
There's a good episode where it turns into The Mandalorian, season 3 in the second half.
Yeah, but this is the thing now. I'm like, do I have to watch this for Mandalorian?
It turns out, yeah, you do. Because I was watching, I was like, I wasn't really paying attention, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh wait, this is related to the thing I'm interested in, so now I have to like give it my attention.
I heard the second season of Mandalorian was like, is it good?
It's not as good as season 1 is perfect. Season 2, they're just like, what if we connect it to the wider universe, which is the exact thing everyone praised that we didn't do in the first season.
That'll show them.
Yeah.
So like there's moments like Ahsoka shows up and I was like, Ahsoka?
Ahsoka?
And my girlfriend who doesn't know who that is was just like, I don't care.
It's the sexy clown from Hunter x Hunter.
No, Ahsoka Katan. Is that her full name?
Yeah, sure.
She was the Padawan of Anakin.
Yes.
In the Clone Wars TV series.
I feel like I hear a certain amount of Star Wars terminology in a sentence, and if it's like more than 3, my brain just goes, nah.
This is like when you talk about wrestling sometimes, and we're like, cool.
Yeah, this is our wrestle talk.
It's kind of like that, except I'm actually respectful towards you guys.
I give you so much.
She's nice, I'm not, but at least Neve's kind of...
Neve, you didn't deserve that.
Neve's kind of sound about it.
I'm sorry you got caught in the bookshot, okay?
Oni, look, I'm sorry, you're going to probably have to clean up that Star Wars section a lot. It's hard to... I don't want to rag on this so much because I'm sure someone has liked this. I don't...
Yeah, the IGN stuff.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't want to hate it and I don't want to be really negative about it. I guess just as someone who was very invested in these two characters specifically, I feel really, really disappointed.
It's okay, Neve. You're a Star Wars fan.
You're supposed to be disappointed.
You're supposed to be disappointed.
This is just how it is.
Yeah.
Guys, I watched a little movie called Hatching.
What's that? Yeah, why?
This is a 2022 horror film.
Oh.
It opens up and this mom is like recording a day in the life of her family, and it's like really like sickly sweet.
That's a big egg.
And she's like a vlogger, a lifestyle vlogger.
Oh.
And the film looks insane. It looks completely like you feel like you're having like a sugar rush or something watching it. It's like, this is so weird. I don't know what kind of movie this is going to be at all. I nearly felt like there was a nearly like Edward Scissorhands vibe from like some of the early parts of the film.
It's very pastiche.
Yeah, very pastiche. Next thing, a bird, a crow, smashes in through their window. And it's like, oh. And the mother picks it up and breaks its neck.
Oh.
And she's like, let's get rid of this. And the little girl's kind of... The girls are out, I think, like 12, 13 years old. And she's kind of upset. And she takes the crow outside and buries it. The crow's still alive. And the little girl has to repeatedly bash it with a rock.
Oh, no.
But then she's like, oh. She finds a little crow egg. And she takes it home. I'm not going to recount the whole movie, by the way. The setup's important.
Okay.
And she wakes up the next morning and the crow egg is like the size of her fist.
Okay.
It's a big egg.
It's a big egg. She like digs out the guts of one of her teddy bears and puts the crow egg inside it.
Keep it warm.
Yep. The next morning, the crow egg is like the size of a medium-sized dog. And it's like, oh, okay. Things really escalate from there. The crow egg hatches, and what's inside is very good. I was very pleased with everything I saw. And the film becomes this really weird metaphor about, I think, like, puberty and accepting the sides of yourself you can't control and how other people might not accept those sides of you. And it really... I feel like I watched the trailer of this, like, Michelle dug out the trailer and she was like, hey, John, let's watch this, because Michelle loves, like, weird suburban shit. And we watched it, and I think we were both expecting a way goofier time, and there are, like, goofy parts of this movie, but it is actually just, like, a very effective horror movie, and very, very deft at, like, its symbolism and, like, what it's going for. Like, I turned to Michelle halfway through this movie, and I was like, there is no way a dude wrote this. And I checked it, and I was completely right. A woman like wrote and directed this. I want to get her name, actually. There's just a lot of it that's very specifically about the relationship between like a daughter and a mother, and like kind of the expectations of that. And I really, really thought it was.
I've got the name here.
What is it?
Hannah Bergholm.
Yeah, she's someone who doesn't actually watch a lot of horror movies, and she only like got into them making this movie, and it just felt like a really fresh, good horror movie, you know? I feel like it's kind of suffered online in a few different ways. I've seen a lot of people refer to this as like a body horror movie, and like there's elements of body horror for sure, but it's way more than that as well. Like I think it's genuinely like an effective, metaphor for a lot of this stuff, and a lot of it's carried by the little girl in it and her mother. Both those actors are fucking amazing, to the point that like if they weren't good, I don't think a lot of the horror in this movie works. Like there's one bit where she's like, the little girl does gymnastics and she's practicing a tumble and she fucks it up, and it's like, oh shit, she fucked it up. And then it pans over to her mother, and just the look her mother gives her, it's like like, oh my god, that's no good. Sometimes with like a horror movie that deals heavily in metaphor, sometimes you have this problem where at the end they're like, okay, we need a final act, so we're just going to get rid of the metaphor and they're going to kill the monster, and that's it. This does not do that. Like, I felt like there was a point where I was like, oh man, I hope they can keep this momentum going because I'm having such a good time here, and they kept it going right up until the last shot. And I actually thought the last shot was like really powerful and really effective. And maybe not something that you haven't seen explored before in horror movies, but I really appreciate it. It really, really caught me off guard. People should check it out because it got fucking murdered in the box office. It cost like 3.9 million and made like 400,000.
Oh no. Which
I'm so bummed about. People come to this podcast a lot for our recommendations, and this is one I would really push strongly. It's great.
The thing in the egg. Are we talking puppet?
The fact that I can't tell you straight away.
Okay, that's good. That's a good sign.
I think there's definitely heavy elements of puppetry in it. I think there's definitely probably parts of CG, but the thing has like a physicality.
Okay, cool.
And that physicality, well, it just keeps going. The film's Swedish, by the way, and it's very cool. Also watched another one called The Innocents, which is also pretty good. It's like a bunch of psychic children in a weird, horrifying suburban complex. It's good. Hatching is the one I'd really recommend, though. Brian,
Yes.
rap with us, buddy.
Like actual rap or just...
Yep, go for it.
I hate ripping raps.
Well, you shouldn't have wore your rip and dip shirt.
Sometimes you gotta rhyme your words.
Great.
Great stuff, Brian.
And I don't know.
That's okay. How is the secret of NIM? How is the secret of No More
Sometimes
Heroes?
that she got a curd.
He's getting there.
He is getting there.
I am getting there, and it is a pain in the underwear.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, he's evolving.
People talk about me like they expect me to know me. They don't know what I got. So come on, show me. I'll eat your fucking face. I'll kick your ass raw. Cuckoo, cuckoo, caw, caw. I don't know.
I was deadly.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's getting hot.
It is. I don't want to open up the window because those seagulls are at it.
Yeah, they are at it, aren't they?
I fucking hate those.
Fucking wankers.
They are. They're the worst.
I
Fucking...
saw a mid-air battle between a seagull and a crow, and it was very, very good.
Oh, I gotta show you guys a video of a seagull fight I saw. It was the most tragic and beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Did you see the video of the seagull and the chipper during the week?
No.
Flew into a chipper and it was a fucking pain in the hole to get out of the chipper. And it was fighting
bastard.
everyone on the way out.
Crows are pretty small, aren't they? Did
Yeah.
they do okay?
Yeah, it did okay. You see, it was in air, so I think that helped the crow.
Interesting.
Yeah, seagulls are clumsy.
Brian, Secret of NIM.
Secret of NIM is a Don Bluth film that I watched finally. Have you guys seen Secret of NIM?
A long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So I thought I'd seen it. I have not seen Secret of NIM.
Although, hang on, because I was talking to you about this before, and I think I also thought I had seen it, but I think that the film I thought it was isn't that.
You might have thought it was Ferngully.
I think.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know if I've seen it.
Okay.
If it's-
Ferngully
yeah.
is the one with the melting man at the end.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've seen Ferngully.
Okay. Secret of NIM came out in 1982. Ferngully came out in 1992. There's a 10-year gap between these two films.
Okay.
Also, one is American. Ferngully, I think, is Australian.
Okay.
But it's just because it's 2D animated and it's not Disney, we sort of kind of amalgamated into Don Bluth. Secret of NIM is directed by Don Bluth, and it's Don Bluth's directorial debut feature film, Don Bluth film. And in my opinion, there's 3 very good Don Bluth films.
What are they?
Secret of NIM,
Okay.
American Tail,
Okay.
Yeah.
and Land Before Time.
Who did Balto?
I think Warner Brothers did.
Okay, never mind.
Is All Dogs Go to Heaven not?
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I tried to rewatch that recently.
Oh, really?
It's not as...
It's fine, but it's a bit
What's-
obnoxious.
Yeah, it's super obnoxious, and the dogs are so fucking ugly.
I'm okay with that. I just like the bit where they go to hell.
Yeah. Like it's got some good set pieces, but I think like as complete films, his first 3 films are actually the best.
Okay.
He didn't do Fievel Goes West, the sequel. At that point, Steven Spielberg took over as executive producer and co-owned Amblimation,
That's a great name.
which is his production company Amblin, and it's the animation subdivision. And they use Fievel Mousekewitz as their mascot, because a mouse mascot for an animation studio, who'd have fucking thunk it? Fuck, they fucking went there. Ireland has an interesting history with Don Bluth. It's sort of how the Irish animation industry kind of grew in the late 80s, early 90s. The studio is long gone. The building is still there. We walk by it sometimes and you wouldn't even know it. And Secret of NIM is a fantastic movie. It's based on a book. It stars a field mouse called Mrs. Brisby. You never find out her first name. She's a widow. She has a family. One of her children is very sick, and she lives in the fields of a big American farm. And at the moment, the farm is kind of going through its seasonal change, and the crops are being all taken up. But she notices there's something up with the rats, and the Secret of NIM is genuinely like a good like what is this driving force of this film, where the rats are super intelligent and they have their own secret underground base, and she ends up kind of joining forces with the rats because her husband had an alliance with them, and so they know her as Mrs. Brisby and they speak very highly of her husband. They don't really mention what happened to her husband, but you kind of think these fucking rats killed her husband. They live under a thorn bush, but she goes into their environment and it's just Bioshock. Like, they have advanced technology and they have their own like system where they just have like an underground pulley that brings you into like a decompression chamber and everything is brass. It's Bioshock.
I don't think I've watched this whole movie. I think I have definitely passed by it a couple of 100 times on RT.
Yeah. There's also this like really, really creepy owl who has no pupils, and he kind of tells her to seek the truth, seek the secret of the NIMH. Long story short, the secret of the NIMH is...
Brian.
This film came out the same year as Plague Dogs. And it seemed like this was a common thing with storytelling about animal testing and animal experimentation and the animals that escape and the lives that they try and rebuild from that.
I don't think I ever want to watch Plague Dogs again. Yeah. Great movie.
So in this, it's a rat utopia based on rats that were experimented on. They're super intelligent. And the chemical they were infused with was called NIMH, NIMH. It stands for something, but I can't remember. But the whole time, I remember growing up, because my sister is also called NIMH, we always thought it was called The Secret of NIMH. I'm sure you did as well. Like you would probably see it out of the corner of your eye, and you'd be like, no.
It's partially my name.
It's a secret. But yeah, this film fucking rocks. There's a good mix of very slickly animated Don Bluth stuff mixed with the rotoscope. There's some sword fights. It's a bit like Redwall.
Oh, cool.
There's mice and rats with swords dueling it out.
I love Redwall.
I used to love the shit out of those books.
It's really...
Did they ever make like an animated?
It's always in production hell.
Yeah.
Or pre-production
That'd be
hell.
so cool.
Same with that same thing happened to Mouse Guard. I think they were like trying to make something out of that, and that kind of just petered out of it.
Mouse just hard to animate.
Yeah.
Like women. A woman mouse.
Sorry?
Forget it.
What's like 4 times?
But yeah, it's a really, really good film. Ending is great, and it's got a happy ending, but God, it goes some dark places. But this kind of led to Rebecca and I watching a bunch of Don Bluth films, and we started watching like the real special ones. We tried watching Pebble and the Penguin. Unwatchable.
Really?
We didn't even try Troll in Central Park. We watched We're Back, a Dinosaur Story, and that film is god awful. So that came out in 1993, and it came out at the same time as Jurassic Park, and the idea was older children could see Jurassic Park, younger children could see We're Back, because Jurassic Park's a bit scary. And there's one really, really good bit in We're Back, a Dinosaur Story where the bad guy, I think his name is Screw Eye, gets like killed by a bunch of crows, where a bunch of crows fly all over his body, and then they fly away, and all that's left is the Screw Eye.
That's a fatality.
Yeah, and it's just
that's like Snake from Metal Gear Solid killed him.
Yeah. It's just really fucking dark.
I'm looking at Troll in Central Park here, and it has 14% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's pretty high. What else do we watch? We watched Thumbelina, which I remember seeing in the cinema. And Thumbelina came out at the same time, around the same time as Aladdin, I think in 1994. Didn't do very well. Sorry, Thumbelina. And it's really interesting watching these movies because there's so many Irish surnames, and I recognize some of the people on it. And like,
oh, that's weird.
And it's like, it's cool, but now I'm kind of like, I really, really want to ask, but maybe they don't want to talk about it.
I'm sure it's long enough ago now that they gotten over it.
Yeah. I'd say it was tough fucking work.
Secret of NIMH has me really intrigued, Brian.
It's really good.
I'll put that on my list.
Yeah, it's worth checking out if you haven't. If you're into animation and you haven't seen Secret of NIMH, check it out.
Okay, real quick, I just want to talk about New Berserk because I have no other avenue to talk about this. Haven't read it. Probably not gonna read it for a long time. I think if people are psyched about it, go for it. I personally think it's a really sweet thing that they're doing for Miura, but it's kind of Miura's story that I love, and it just feels too weird for me right now to kind of read it and with it, because I did spend 3 months where Berserk was kind of my whole life there for a little bit, and the idea of going back to it in this kind of newer, weirder form, I wish him luck. It's just not something I super want in my life right now. So that's where I am with New Berserk. Appreciate everyone asking, but yeah, hope people enjoy it. Strategy talk.
Now we're in. Time to talk about video games.
Time to talk about video games on this video game podcast.
If you're not into the video games, we'll see you next time.
Yep.
How dare you?
This is where you check out, buddy.
Yeah.
You say something mean to him.
fuck.
Whoa! Okay, that's not what... Whoa, we're gonna have to dial that back. Could you bleep the F word in that sentence, please?
I heard there was a woman in a supermarket and everyone was talking about her, and it's because they fucked her. I don't know. Reference the start of the podcast. That's your mom.
I'm on the way to fuck your mom. Sorry, the line was too long.
Brian. We all fucked your mom.
Yeah. I don't know how we got here from like...
And she was
literally
lovely.
10 seconds ago being like, welcome to the video game portion of our podcast.
We can't call this episode 165 We All Fucked Your Mom. We can't.
No, I don't think we can do that.
Okay, what's like the episode name?
Secret of Neve.
No, I don't want...
Neve, come on.
No.
Neve, we don't get tossed easy wordplay
but
like
no
that
one.
off.
Yeah, but no one knows how to pronounce it, so it's lost on them. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
No, Neve, it works.
Neve,
I think if you want to have
Neve,
a problem,
please.
if you want to say that you don't want to do this, that's fine. But don't go bragging on my excellent joke, okay, Neve?
Neve.
Yeah, fine. It's fine. I don't.
Okay.
It's been a while since we've had a Neve name in the title.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's me where it's like Brian's last episode or whatever. But like, it's like I think the last one we had for you, Neve, was 2 years ago for NeveCon 2020.
Oh God.
I don't know if John's had one.
I don't think he has either.
I've had like ones referencing me, but I don't know if I've ever like been in the title.
Do Secret of John.
No.
It's a meta.
Do you want Obi-John Kenobi or do you want Secret of Neve?
Obi-John Kenobi, listen to John be silent for 25 minutes.
He's so good at not having an opinion on Star Wars. It's the best way to go, to be honest.
Hey,
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Was it really 25 minutes?
No. I
Okay,
don't think
good.
so.
It's
Probably
not-
20.
Neve, it's called The Secret of Neve. Come on.
Fine.
Okay, and if you have a now till the rest of the episode to find a better title.
Okay.
And I have alternate titles if you want, but they're not good.
Okay.
Like, how about, and I'm just putting it out there,
Okay.
Sink Pisser 5000.
Oh, that's so good, Brian.
I kind of like
Sink Pisser 5000. Yeah.
Okay, so this is because Rebecca watched a YouTube video on like top 15 like her subreddits, and like
Oh no!
and like
No.
and near the very beginning, it's kind of like, you know, the weird ones, but they're not that harmful.
Yeah.
So sink pissing is one of them, and she was telling me about r/sink pissing. This is like months ago, and so yeah, so like the last few months, I'll bring up the sink pissing from time to time. Just saying, you know, that I think it's a great community, and you know they've got a
So
lot of good ideas.
TMNT Shredder's Revenge. This is a game that came out relatively recently and is a really traditional scrolling beat 'em up game, which is one of my favorite genres of games, especially when they're done right. And this game is more specifically a real kind of throwback to both the old Turtles arcade games as well as the Super Nintendo Turtles in Time game. A lot of people think those two are the same game. They are not. They are
No, they're
very
not.
different. Very, very different. The Turtles in Time, the Turtles arcade game is a pretty fun beat 'em up, and Turtles in Time is one of the greatest games of all time.
Yes.
Yep. And this game...
Oh, that
It's
was a
definitely a
long
throwback.
exhale.
It's definitely a throwback to those Konami games. Maybe a way forward.
Yeah, it's hard. There is so much love put into this game. This game, there's so much animation to it. There's so much like references to the old game. This is very clearly a game made by people who love those old games as an expression of them. And I really want to like it more than I do. I have a kind of couple of issues with it. One like is there's I think like a really irritating gameplay problem with this game. They've kind of added, or at least I'm pretty sure they've added now. It's been a while since I played like the old games, but I did play the true Turtles in Time like 17, 18 times. And this game has a dodge roll. So basically, you hit B or whatever button it is, and your turtle or April O'Neil or Master Splinter or Casey Jones will like dodge roll out of the way, and you'll get like loads of iframes. Then you can come out of the dodge roll and like basically do a homing attack to another enemy and beat them up, and then dodge roll out of the way the next attack and keep going like that. And that's kind of sort of the optimum way to fight in this. But I kind of have a problem with it because, like, I feel like with dodge rolls are obviously really fun mechanics. Like, you know, Dark Souls, you think Elden Ring, you think Bloodborne. It's like those are integral parts of those games.
Oh, yeah.
But the problem with a dodge roll is that it's a mechanic that can become OP really, really easily, specifically if there's no cost to doing it. You look at a game like Elden Ring, you are kind of locked into that animation and you are vulnerable when you come out of it. And you also have, like, not a lot of iframes. Like, you have to know what's coming to dodge it. With the dodge roll in Shredder's Revenge, it really is like they give you so much time and no cost. It isn't related to a stamina meter. You can dodge indefinitely, and you are invincible for so long during the middle of that roll that any question the game asks you, this roll becomes your answer just by default. And I have a real problem with that because, like, one of the things I love about fighting games, but like scrolling beat 'em ups as well, is the mastery of them comes from learning the exact range of your attack and then measuring that against the range of your enemy's attack and, like, you know, trying to poke them out, trying to, like, learn when you can actually attack them. But with this, no matter what the enemy throws at you, you can kind of just dodge roll out of it and just hammer attack and you'll be okay. And so I really did find the combat in this was so much flatter. Like, I've seen people kind of say that the combat has more depth, and I really don't think it does. I think you can level up your characters, and I think you can do supers in the air, and that's kind of it, you know? So I really, like, this was like the opposite of Streets of Rage 4. I felt like I got to the end of Streets of Rage 4, and that game started. That's when, like, it started being really, really fun to me. And with this, I got to the end of it. I replayed the first level on hard. I beat it, like, without losing a life. And it was just like, okay. This was like a kind of semi-fun, nostalgic trip. But I'm not sure there's a great beat 'em up here. I don't think there really is. And it's weird as well because even the tone of it, the tone is very like the old games, but it's also really, it doubles down on, like, the goofy Saturday morning cartoon aspect of Turtles, which is fair. That's what, you know, the Turtles show is. But what I loved about Turtles in Time is, like, there was this kind of edge to it as well. Listen to the boss theme from Turtles in Time. It is the most fucking, oh my god, escape this building because a rhinoceros has set your house on fire and is trying to kill you theme. It was amazing, you know? And, like, there was just, like, all these really fun, weird little touches. Like, the turtles, they didn't have pupils, they had just the white eyes, you know? And, like, the sound effects were so crunchy and hard. Like, the game felt kind of violent, which was
definitely closer to the comics than the animated series.
Yeah, it was.
But the new one is absolutely the Saturday morning cartoon.
The new one is absolutely, like, 100%. All the character designs, everything's goofy, everything's kind of silly, and it's like,
they're very smiley.
And that's a choice, right? It's not like, I like the kind of edgier feel better. That's just me. I'm an edgy boy. Some people might just like the kind of goofier side of it. It did kind of take away from it for me. But I think, like, the game as a whole as well, it really did just feel like a tribute to those old games. There's nothing about this game that I think really sets it apart from those games at all. And I think that's a real shame. And I think some of the efforts to modernize it feel so half-assed. Like, there's collectibles in it. You can collect, like, Vernon's tapes, and you collect 6 of Vernon's tapes, and then you take it to Vernon, and you get 1,000 points. Can't spend the points anywhere.
Oh.
Can't do anything with the points.
So
really?
It just goes up in your counter in the corner of the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Cool.
there's, like...
Should it unlock, like, concept art?
Yeah, it shouldn't have. Agree. I was really bummed out. There was stuff I like. You can play as April. She's really cool in it, and they really went to town on her animations, and it's fun beating people up as her. I would let April O'Neil physically destroy me, but that's kind of it, you know? And I really wanted this game to be good. I think, Neve, I was talking to you a couple of weekends ago, and I was like, yeah, I got this over Neon White.
Yeah. You seemed pretty okay on it about it then.
Oh yeah, it's a great first 2 levels.
Did you get to the level that has the Ghostface Killer Raekwon track?
Yes, and that is amazing. And I would never say that's not amazing.
Because that's a good song.
It's a very good song.
I've not played the game. I've just listened to that song a whole bunch.
Then you've gotten 70% of the... No, that's mean. Like, I totally think this game is made with passion. I totally think it's made by people who really give a shit. I don't think they made that good a scrolling beat 'em up. I think they made an okay one of those. I think something like Streets of Rage 4 just has so much infinitely more depth. Like, I was at the point where it was Streets of Rage 4 where, like, you know, I was holding out to use my one super against this one enemy halfway through the level, because if I don't use it on him, I'm going to get wiped out by... I'm like, oh, just the decision making, the strategy, all that. I don't feel like any of that's here. I think this is just kind of... It's a kind of enjoyable way to kill 3 hours, and I don't really think it's much more than that. Fair play to everyone who worked on it. Clearly a lot of talent has gone into it. There's a lot of fun animation. There's a lot of really nice little touches. But yeah, this was one of my most anticipated games of the year, and I found it to be kind of a letdown. So I went and I bought Neon White.
Oh, yay.
Yep.
Have you played much of it?
Shit game for babies.
Yeah, if you want to talk about Neon White?
Devastating. Yeah, okay, so when Neon White first showed, I was like, oh cool, a first-person shooter. And it's kind of got a time attack thing, so you'll go through the level, it'll give you a deck of cards, and they will correspond to guns, and you can choose to discard them to get mobility stuff. But ultimately, you are shooting things and killing things, because it's a first-person shooter. That is really not what the game is. It is more of a time attack challenge mode where the first person shooter aspect of it is kind of just an obstacle in the race to the finish line. Like, it isn't like there's a bunch of enemies like Boomerang X, and if you clear it the fastest, you have the best score. There is a straight line from the beginning to the end of the level, and you get cards that will get you there. You do not get superfluous cards. So it isn't you being like, I favor the shotgun, or I favor the sniper rifle, or I favor the Glock, or whatever. It is very like, you get what you need to get through a level.
Okay.
So when you start a level, the timer starts, and it is so like fraction of a second runs that you are trying to get, that when you restart a level, you're already pressing forward, because that second, like, once the screen goes from black to on, you want to be moving. You can't, like, let that second go. And you will go to the level, you will collect a card, and you will discard it to do a double jump. And then you will discard the next card to do a dash. But everything is kind of laid out in front of you to do it. Am I describing it okay?
So
Yeah.
the game tells you what moves to use?
Kinda, yeah.
But they're not signposts.
I mean,
You can
it'll tell you what to use, but that's kind of like... That's like the first layer of that level.
Yeah.
Like finding your own route and cutting time and stuff is...
Yeah, you can find like you will find your own route through the level that will get you there faster, but you will still only get, like, if you waste a card, you have to restart. You need that card. You know what I mean? Like there isn't...
Sometimes you actually end up in a situation where the game's like, you're stuck. You can't do anything.
So you just got to start the level and play.
So you can't, like it never gives you an abundance of cards. It kind of gives you enough to get you through what you need.
Can you beat levels with cards remaining?
Yeah, sometimes you can, but it would be like one, and you would probably be like, maybe I could burn that later on in the level to get a bit faster.
I would say, Brian, like, when we say levels even, it's less so like a traditional level.
More of a track.
They're like 40 seconds long. Think like nearly like a Tony Hawk kind of experience.
Okay, so it's a run.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah. Like some of them, and when you finish, you get a bronze, silver, gold, or like platinum medal.
So it's a really score attack base.
And then
it's
there's dev time above that, isn't there? I don't think I've ever gotten a dev time.
No, I just get platinum and then I move on. I haven't got a dev time either. And that's it, and it's really, really cool. Like its aesthetic is like this kind of it looks like Greece done in low poly. Like it's white buildings with like blue water, and it looks like, I think it looks visually cool. And the characters you play as, you're playing as the character Neon White. He is a demon who is gone to heaven, but to progress in heaven, he needs to kill demons.
Okay.
He is now a neon, and other people like him are called neons. They get a mask, and kind of You know, like Kaoru's collar in Evangelion that explodes? The mask will explode if they take it off.
Okay, we'll keep it on then.
So they have to kill demons and get their rank from 100 to 1 so they can, I don't know, progress through heaven.
Yeah,
get the anime reward.
Get the anime reward.
Yeah, whatever happens at the end of Gantz.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. You get cloned twice on and both of you get girlfriends.
Wow, that is Neon White.
The main guy, there's 2 of them, and each has a girlfriend, and he's doing great.
Fucking Gantz is so good. People say it's bad. It's so good.
Like Neve, at one point, he has like 2 girlfriends, and there's only one guy. He doesn't know what to do. But then he gets wished back as a clone. So then, like, he gets to have his cake and eat it. Like, it's fucking...
And they're like to the Gantz machine, did you make 2 of that guy? And the Gantz machine's like, whoa.
And the 2 guys are aware of each other, but they're like, let's just do our best.
It's so good. I love it. Sorry, Neve.
No, that's fine. It is kind of like Neon White story.
The best boy.
The other side to Neon White, apart from this like super fast-paced time attack gameplay, is a visual novel. I kept hearing people saying that the writing in the novel was a bit grating. And I was about 3 hours in and I was like, it's fine. It's fine. It's not grating. And then I got to about 8 hours in and then I was like, oh no. Like I was really skipping through a lot of it.
Okay, because I'm about 3 hours in and I'm kind of where you are, as in like, I don't think this is that bad.
They're really rambling.
Fine. It's just very generic. Like, Neon Violet is a cutesy girl with big boobs who says, you don't know what it's like to have big boobs. Ooh woo. And she likes cute things.
Yeah, she's cool, Brian. Don't mind her.
Rabbits and guts, because she's like also a bit weird.
Just like me.
So it's just I don't mind her or whatever, but like she's just very tropey, and you're kind of like, okay, you'll get beyond that, but they just stay there. Like it's just the trope.
I kind of like Neon Yellow. I think he's kind of fun.
Me too. I like Neon Yellow the most, and probably Red.
I like Red too. Like to be honest, I don't hate the story or anything. I feel like how tolerant you are of the story is going to depend a lot on how much dubbed anime you've watched.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And like I have kind of like I'm not as down in it as other people are, but I have skipped a lot of it.
Sure, I'll probably get to that point.
I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, I want to play the cool levels and I don't really care. Like the story isn't interesting, and I don't find the character dynamics very interesting.
So there was one thing I really liked in it, where it's like you have Yellow, and Yellow's like a total kind of himbo dude. Really like
he calls you bro.
Yeah, he calls you bro. He's got a lot of affection for you. He seems nice, and you kind of say it to one of the other characters, like, "Oh man, that Yellow dude is such a big, stupid, lovable idiot," and they're kind of like, "What?" No, he's only acting like that because you've lost your memory. And I thought that was really interesting. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if it goes anywhere, but that one little bit of writing had me like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, and maybe it will go somewhere interesting narratively, but right now it is very much visual novel dating stuff where they're all kind of fulfilling their kind of roles, where Red is like much cooler and she likes seeing Neon White sweat a little. And Yellow is a bro, and Green doesn't talk much yet. But I don't know. You find presents along the levels, and you can give them to characters, and then you will unlock more dialogue.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was very much like I was skipping the dialogue I was unlocking, and I was like, this is not a good thing to unlock, because I was finding it very.
And it's a shame because the
boring.
Levels are really weird and interesting.
Yeah.
That you unlock from that stuff.
Yes, that is my favorite part. Is like Violet's like level you unlock with her, like it's just like spikes everywhere, so you just can't touch any of the sides of the level, so you're just like you're basically
it
falling.
nearly feels like a first person shmup, but there aren't any projectiles. You're just like there's one bit, and it's like Violet's first level, where you're like there's a giant corkscrew you have to fall down with spikes on every side, and you're trying to like fall all the way down. It's fucking crazy.
Well, just try not to graze it.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you touch it once, that's it. So, like, then you're just like it's stuff like you're always restarting, because if you mess up a little bit, you may as well. Like, there's no point.
You gotta have that good run.
Yeah. I will say playing it on the Switch does not feel optimal. Like, you know, you see the global times and someone has it down to like 12 seconds and you're like, but I'm on 22 seconds. How did they do it? And then if you watch a video, it's like they're sniping across the map and there's just no way to do that on the little Switch controllers. And it's just like, oh man, if maybe I got like a pro controller, I'd probably have better accuracy. So I've been like doing a lot of, I remapped the entire controls because I found them kind of, the default ones kind of awful. It is weird,
yeah.
Well, not like, it's just like, it's not, they're very not first person shooter.
The L trigger jump, right bumper discard.
Yeah,
that took me a while.
So I just remapped the entire thing to make it more comfortable and made X like bottom button my jump. And that felt way more comfortable. I think, like, in terms of remapping, where your finger naturally goes, just change it to that. If your finger is naturally going there and your brain is telling you that's right, then just change it and you'll probably have a better time. Yeah, I'm liking it. I guess I thought it was going to be something else. I thought it was going to be closer to Boomerang X, where it was more of a shooter, where I would get to shoot things more and there would be a lot more enemies, and it would be like, how fast and creatively could you take out all the enemies?
It's nearly like much more of a first-person platformer.
Yeah, it's
so it's like Mirror's Edge a bit.
Yes, kind of like Mirror's Edge meets Tony Hawk's.
Meets a bit of Super Hot.
Yeah, you were making your way through something very specifically, and you're trying to shave seconds and fractions of seconds off your time. Like, there's a lot of levels, which I'm really surprised at. Usually with something like this, you'd think there would be like 10, but like, I don't know, I've gone through like 30 of them at this stage.
Yeah. I watched videos of this and I was like, I don't know that this is for me. And mainly just because like with Boomerang X, that's definitely like a game I respected more than I kind of enjoyed. And I really thought this looked very similar from videos. It really isn't. And this is one of like the best game feels I've had in a long time, in that just, I think controlling the character feels amazing. And I think when you pair that with like, honestly, some of the probably the best level design I've ever seen, like the way it makes you use those powers and makes you feel like such a fucking genius when you get it, I'm really enjoying this game way, way more than I thought I would. Yeah, the story's like not great. I don't find it as much of a bummer as a lot of people do, but again, I think that comes down purely to how much dubbed anime I've seen and how tolerant I am for that kind of stuff. But overall, I think this game rules. I think it really has its own personality and it's doing its own thing, and it's one of those games where like, wow, I can't believe I've never really played anything like this.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a Suda game or something like that.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's very memorable in its aesthetic and its music and everything it's bringing. It like brings a lot of stuff you've seen before, but into its own special dish that it's creating.
They're very different games, but I think in like 5 years, I'll look at this in a similar-ish way that I looked to like Killer 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
Killer 7's such a weird game.
I know.
It's really hard to play. It doesn't want you to play it.
No, and the story is also really hard to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you guys see they're remaking Lollipop Chainsaw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the ground up, apparently.
Yeah.
What a weird game. Like, remaster, sure, but remake? Yeah. That's bizarre.
Not the previous one, Shadows of the Damned.
Yeah, I'd love them. No, I wouldn't. They're just like, they're so recent. I guess.
They're like they came out like 10 years ago now. That's
I just keep thinking like this generation has been like so bookmarked by all these remakes and remasters and stuff, and it's like, are we gonna just keep doing this, or are we gonna get to a point where we stop for a while?
I just think we need to make The Last of Us again. Again.
I want, you know the way they're gonna do 3 Final Fantasy VIIs?
Mm-hmm.
I want the third one to be a remake of the first remake.
That'd be great, because then they don't ever have to do the third one.
Yeah. Everything resets to nothing, Cloud.
Just saves on resources.
Sephiroth probably said that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like we're back here again, buddy. That's what he says. Yep.
Neon White, good.
It's a good game.
Good game. I like it.
I liked it.
Did you play it?
No.
We should add each other on Switch so I can see if I've beaten your time.
Okay.
I don't have any Switch friends.
Yeah.
Really?
You know what? 5 years ago, I was like, we'll be friends on Switch. And you were like, no.
Oh.
And then she spat on me.
I thought you guys were...
I don't have any Switch friends except for my girlfriend.
I'm friends with your girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm friends with your girlfriend.
And we've just added each other as best friends. I don't know. I've never added people on Nintendo consoles before.
Okay, I'm going to send you...
I thought this was the kind of thing where you're like, John, give me some fucking space. I don't want you in
I
doing
literally
there.
have no friends other than Rebecca.
I'll be your friend.
Neve, I'm going to send you my Switch code later, okay?
Okay.
And you're going to forget to add me, so I'm going to ask you again, please.
Okay. I've just always seen the Switch as like, here's my
Brian,
RPG machine.
can we do this on the LFAB chat so that we can both remind her to add us?
Oh, yeah.
I will be very sad if you've beaten my times. And then I'll spend a lot of time.
Oh,
trying to
Neve,
beat
come
those.
on. I don't think you need to worry about that.
I'm sure I'll play this game at some point.
Do you know what I
And I
might
will
do?
beat both your
What?
I
times.
might go through every single time and just find one and never let you have it.
John gets really sad and competitive. You have to let him do it.
I do get really sad and competitive.
Yeah, but I do too.
Yeah, you both kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah. We've never really competed in anything, Neve.
I know. Maybe Neon White's the one.
Maybe. Brian,
Yeah.
tell us about Foresty Dew and the Higginbottom Express.
What?
This is PigShip and the Giant Wolf.
Yeah.
I'll talk about this one briefly because I wasn't really feeling it, to be honest.
That's a great title, though.
Yeah, it is. This is a side-scrolling cute-em-up retelling the story of the three little pigs and the big bad wolf.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
The big bad wolf steals two of the pigs. The third pig builds a ship, and it's a side-scrolling, I guess, a cute-em-up because the visuals are very cute. And I like shmups. I like side-scrolling shmups. My partner Rebecca, she likes vertical shmups.
How do you guys make it work?
I don't know. She likes her Tohos. I remember she played Death Smiles, which is just Toho, but side-scrolling. I like Proteus a whole bunch. This game is cool. It has a nice color palette. The sprites are nice, but I found the evasion and grazing not very good, let's say. I know I asked about grazing earlier on in the other game, but it's just because it's on my mind with this game, in that the game isn't fair on dodging projectiles, I find. The game is in pixels, but I don't know if the pixels, because the game is really high res and the way the characters move and elements move, I don't know if the pixels are snapped to a grid or not, if that makes sense.
I get you.
Where it looks like it's a vector game with pixel art, but I don't know if they're actually on a pixel grid. Because I'm finding sometimes I should be dodging projectiles, but I'm not.
Could just be wonky hitboxes not aligning to your sprite at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of a bit of Toho.
Yeah, it is.
With you, not so much the enemies. It feels bad when it's the enemies.
But yeah, I'm playing this game and I'm really trying to like it, but unfortunately it's just not grabbing me. And it came out like a couple of weeks ago and it had a really fun setup, and the opening credits are super good, the opening cutscene, like it's super charming, and that's what kind of won me over. But then when I actually started playing the game, the game is my least favorite part of the game, unfortunately.
Sure, I hear you. Yeah, that sucks.
And I have a bunch of other games, but I want to play them more. And I'll talk about them in the next episode.
Okay.
But because I know what's happened the last couple episodes, I've tried a bunch of curiosities on the eShop or on the PlayStation Store, and they haven't really gotten me excited. But there's a couple of games, and they have a lot of potential. And for the next episode, I have a batch of fun games because I feel
we're getting a Brian mystery box.
Yeah, because it just, unfortunately at the moment, just in recent times, the games I've been playing are kind of a bummer. Not the other game on this list, but just the games I'm playing this year are kind of a mixed bag. They're either like super hype or they're just super tripe.
Speaking of super hype, I've been playing their Cuphead DLC, The Delicious Last Course.
Hell yeah. I've not played this, but I've watched it on YouTube, and holy shit.
It's fantastic. It's really, really great. Everything you like about Cuphead is back. It's $8. It's $8, whatever. This is so cheap for how much you actually get here. I think I'm on the last boss, although I suspect there's more to go. But basically, I'm fighting the story character who it sets you up to fight. And man, it is like the most animated boss battle they have done. There is so much fucking work that's gone into this one boss fight, and it's amazing. But like, nearly all the bosses in this so far have been really great. Like, just you fight this like girl cow, and she's like a giant cow, and she's putting her arms out through this tavern, and you're chasing her as she runs away with this giant building on her. And then after that, she bursts out of the building and tries to kill you with a massive Hoover. But then she gets sucked into the Hoover and she gets turned into beef sausages and she fights you as beef sausages. But then she gets turned into a tin can of beef sausages and that's how you fight her. And it's like the evolution of the boss phases are so fun and so crazy. It's kind of everything I like about Cuphead. But honestly, I think the DLC boss fights... I think the best are easily as good as like the best fights from Cuphead original, if not like better.
I've seen the ones of the different chess piece bosses you fight.
Yep.
And they all wear armor, so projectiles don't work on them.
Yeah, you have
to dodge and parry.
You have to use the double jump parry or Chalice Girl's like dash parry.
And so they will hit the pink projectile and you have to slap that back at them.
Yeah, and there's such a more enjoyable change of pace than the kind of side-scrolling levels from Cuphead original.
Yeah.
But Chalice Girl's the new one in this, and she's awesome. She works really differently to... Like, not that differently if you don't play a lot of Cuphead, but like the mechanical changes she makes are so different. She parries in Cuphead. There's these pink shots, and they're the ones you can parry, which can really get you out of some like difficult situations. She dashes into objects to parry, as well as having like a double jump, and that alone really, really changes how she plays. And I'm having a lot of fun playing as her. A lot of people apparently aren't playing as her, and I really think people should give her a shot because she's such a different dynamic, and some of those bosses do kind of feel designed with her in mind. But yeah, it's really great. I really respect the shit out of Studio MDHR for like releasing this at such a cheap price point. Cuphead is still a game that to me makes no economic sense at all how it exists, but I'm so glad it does. I actually played through the original Cuphead in anticipation of this, and I went back and I beat Satan, which I'd never beaten before, and it was very, very good game. But I honestly think that the DLC is nearly... It's the best Cuphead has to offer, and I'm having such a great time with it. We'll
definitely do a best DLC category.
No, it's okay. We can put it in best game.
No, it's DLC.
It's DLC.
No.
So yeah, I think all three of us are agreeing that it is the DLC.
No, if I have to put up with your guys' shitty like remakes and remasters, and,
what?
I don't know. I'm just pulling that out of the air. I need something new.
It's DLC.
It's DLC.
No.
It's downloadable content. It's €8, so it's worth it.
Okay. If I can go back through the previous lists and not find any DLC or any remasters or anything, cool. I'll agree.
We had a category.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, it was best DLC.
Yeah.
It's
so
like
you're telling me that if I look back through our Games of the Year list, those 40 games, I'm not going to find any DLCs, any remasters?
No, because you put in a different category.
Brian, you're 100%
We had
wrong.
a separate category for them last year. And we also cut things early if they're like remakes or remasters.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not going to like...
We have made rules around this, John.
Okay, you just said it. You just said it, though. We do have them in the list. I'm okay with it not going that far, but it's a cool thing.
It could win best DLC by the sounds of it.
Yeah, sure. It can totally do that. And also be in the top 40. Anyway, Brian.
Yes.
Tell me about whatever the fucking shit you have next.
Pokemon Crystal is a Game Boy Color game from 2000. I got this game a couple of weeks ago, actually a couple of months ago now, back in April. It's been a fucking journey trying to play this game.
Really?
I kind of want to talk more about how I managed to play Pokemon Crystal. Because, like, Pokemon Crystal is great. Okay, here are some of my, like, stray thoughts on Pokemon Crystal, right? It is the sequel follow-up to Pokemon Gold and Silver. Growing up as a kid, I loved Pokemon Gold and Silver. I never got to play Pokemon Crystal because at that point I'd moved on to the Game Boy Advance and I kind of lost interest. Sorry, it came in 2001. Oh my god. I'm only playing this now and it's been 20 years since I've played Pokemon Silver. And I think this is great. It's the first time you get to play as a female trainer and her sprite is super cool. And there's full animations for all the Pokemon and the sprites look super charming. It was made with the Game Boy Color in mind. It's a Game Boy Color exclusive game. It has the funny bubble shape on the back of the cartridge. I bought this game secondhand and the battery was not working.
How much does it cost you?
Okay, so I went on adverts.ie. I found a guy. I want to give a shout out to Van.
Okay.
I posted my Game Boy cartridge to Van. soldered in a new battery, posted it back to me, got it back 2 days later, was playing Pokemon.
Nice.
Nice.
So cool.
Fucking hooked me up. And he was like, you could do this yourself. And I was like, yeah, but Van, you could do it way better. And he was like, yeah, I can.
Sometimes I feel like I'm at that age where it's like, okay, I've never learned this skill, so from this point on, I'm just going to find someone else who knows how to do it.
Oh, yeah, no. And like, because Pokemon uses the internal clock. It uses a 24-hour clock. When you're not playing the game, it's still counting time. And if you play it at midnight, it takes place at midnight in the game. And there's a couple of Game Boy games that use the batteries. A lot of them don't. You don't need to worry about it that much. But Pokemon Crystal, you need that battery. It's crucial to how that game works. I found a Lapras in a cave on a Friday night, and that Lapras is fucking OP, and she's part of my team forever. I'm playing it on the Analog Pocket.
Okay.
We are 6 months later with the Analog Pocket, Niamh.
How's it going?
If you are on the fence about the Analog Pocket, I would not recommend it.
Ooh.
You would stay on that fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had quite a chat with the devs of the Analog Pocket. Those fellas at Analog, they are some tedious folk.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What's happened?
So a couple of days into using my Analog Pocket, and Pokemon Crystal looks amazing on the Analog Pocket. All of a sudden, one day, I just got an error that said bad header reading. Looked up on the subreddit, all of that, and people are just like, yeah, you could spray IPA in there, which I have handy because I do a bit of Game Boy modding, even though I suck at it. You can open up the window, John.
I think the seagulls have been quiet.
Yeah, they are. They've been quiet. John's wearing shorts.
He is. He's very summery.
Leave wear your shorts.
I don't really wear shorts.
Oh.
I will, though.
Thanks.
I think you should get into shorts and vests, Steve.
I'll try.
I just think you should.
Just be a good look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't fix this, so I had to contact Analog, and they're based in America. I had to post my Analog Pocket to them. It cost €25. They fixed it. I had to pay the shipping back. It cost another €25. I told them this cost me €50 for a luxury product that's still under warranty, and I guarantee I'm not the only one. And this is the kind of thing where whenever a new piece of tech comes out, there's reviews at the launch and people are saying it's good, but you gotta wait 6 months, then you'll see the real shit.
And 6 months is not that's not a lot of time to waste.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it wouldn't play games. It was such a fucking pain in the hole to send back and forth to America as well, because Analog Pockets are expensive. I sent it over and I declared the value as €8 because it was basically useless. It couldn't play games.
Yeah.
It was just electronic. It was junk. They fixed it and sent it back, and there was such a fucking problem about customs going, yeah, but do you own this? And I'm like, yeah, I've owned this for 6 months. And I had to get Analog to email Irish Customs to go, no, this is a human man who owns this Analog Pocket. He paid for it already. Here is his history. I had to dig up stuff that you got me from back in December. Finally got to play Pokemon Crystal last week, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But honestly, I'm pro piracy at this point.
Yeah.
It's such a pain in the ass to play these things.
Especially because, it's so hard to get hardware now that if you wanted to wait that 8-month window to see what, 6 to 8 months of use is on these consoles, you haven't pre-ordered then. You're not getting this, for another year and a half. It's the same thing with the Steam Deck. If you wanted to wait, you're also out you're out a freaking year from getting it.
I'll probably get the Steam Deck maybe in 5 years.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about
when it's
Steam
been
Deck,
revised?
I'm excited about it in the sense that I've seen a lot of PS2 emulation, and I like PlayStation 2 games.
That is exciting.
I know, and that's it feels weird to say that the reason I want to get this beefy hardware is to do handheld PS2, but I've been playing a lot of Magna Carta on the PlayStation 2 currently.
What an excellent lead-in.
There we go. I've been having a fun time because in the early PlayStation 2 era and early 360 era of JRPGs, they did a lot of weird stuff with battle systems. And if you ever try to emulate something like Shadow Hearts or Magna Carta, their battle systems are basically timing based. They're Quicktime Events and just trying to stop a line in a ring. And even the way I'm playing it on a PlayStation now with using a HDMI converter, there is a timing delay. that makes trying to do
right.
and it's like the way the battle system in Magna Carta works is you have to hit 3 buttons in a rhythm, and if you miss one, like the last one, you don't attack at all, so you miss your entire attack. So trying to
so it's got that latency, and that ain't helping.
Yeah, so like that has been a problem with early emulation, but emulation has gotten better. So I'm kind of looking at the Steam Deck and being like, okay, emulation has gotten better for these games. It looks so much nicer on those screens than it does.
So like, I was telling you I dug into like PS2 emulation earlier in the year. It was shockingly good.
Yeah. It's gotten to a great place, so I feel
like even 2 years ago, that was such a like, oh, you want to emulate PS2 games?
Yeah.
You know?
So that's what I feel like the games that I want to play on it, that I've had issues with emulation before, like Shadow Hearts, I could now feasibly play them really comfortably on the Steam Deck and play them in bed instead of like kind of hooking up my PS2, and PS2 loading times are very slow. But there's something I love the old hardware. Like I really love playing on the PlayStation 2 and playing this game, Magna Carta. It's just like, it is a South Korean JRPG that is heavily inspired by Final Fantasy X. Like the mini map is in the corner, the buildings all look like they're like from Bavel. Like it is just so inspired by it that it's just a really interesting time playing it, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Don't have much to say about it other than it's a real systems dense game. There's a lot of different things happening in it, and I keep thinking I could enjoy them on the Steam Deck. Because also trying to buy, like, I had to do a lot of shit to get this copy of Magna Carta. I am banned from UKCEX from using proxy services, you know. So I have to get a friend in Belfast to be my like mule.
Get your retro games mule.
Yeah.
Real quick, just want to talk a little bit. I gotten back into, after like every month for the last 2 years being like, I should go back to 13 Sentinels. I've gone back to 13 Sentinels, and I'm having a really good time with it. What a weird game.
Oh yeah.
I
platinumed it.
Yeah, okay. I feel like the last time we talked about it, I was like, the battles aren't that good. Yes, they are.
I like the battles.
They're
a lot.
fantastic.
So much fun.
They're the closest I've ever played to like an action scene from Evangelion.
And they look so cool the way they're like little hand-drawn elements.
Yeah, I think I was expecting like more from them visually, but once you understand like the different kind of mechs and what they all do, it's so fun. And like, your melee guy gets caught out but surrounded by a bunch of aliens, and you got to go help him out. Like, it's great, and it's not quite turn-based. It's like active time battle, but in a way that's really, really cool.
I got really into that, and like I couldn't tell you what I was doing right or wrong, but I just sort of felt it.
But that's how I feel about it as well.
Yeah.
But like, I will get like destroyed in a fight, and I'm like, okay, I need to feel this better. Yeah. And I'll go back in, and I'm not quite sure what I do different, but I do something.
Yeah, because I'm not using strategy. I'm just kind of going with whatever's.
But I feel like the reason we feel like that is because the fights are so chaotic.
Yeah.
Like, you're using strategy, but it's like this moment-to-moment strategy of you having to adjust on the fly, and it's really fun.
Yeah, it's like you're hurling a projectile with pauses.
Yeah. The story itself, it's very anime.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I couldn't tell you what's going on.
Each character is so kind of tropey in their own way that like there's no real one character I'm like that invested in. I like Miura, I think he's called. The guy with the hat.
Oh, he's great.
I like him. I really like him.
I really like the girl who has the cat, and the cat keeps telling her to do bad stuff.
I think she's kind of an idiot.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
She's the main character, I think.
I don't know. When you like pull out from each individual narrative and start piecing together what the fuck is actually happening, that's when it gets kind of interesting, and that's when I think like it turns into like an actual like really good piece of sci-fi where like you're slowly. Neve, you're giving me the eyes.
No, I just like. I found it very generic sci-fi.
Have you finished it?
You get the body swapping stuff and the.
Have you finished it?
No, I didn't finish it.
So, like, for a while I thought it
bored.
was fine, and, like, the body swaps and stuff, but the more it pulls out, the more they go into, like, where you are and the nature of time and space and reality, it's fucking bizarre. And trust, it's not just like people are switching bodies and this person's like, it keeps pulling the camera back and back. I can tell you don't believe me from your face. It's actually good.
I know, but I don't like the whole like, when you get to the end, then it will be good.
Well, I'm enjoying it up till that. I'm not saying that you should play it if you're not enjoying it.
I think it's a mileage thing with anime kind of.
And
tropes.
like that, you see, that's the thing. It is very anime, and I think like
it's not very good for shipping either because
it's super heterosexual and everyone is already lined up. There's one ship.
But then also all the ships I had ended up being related to each other. So,
yes!
So then you're like,
doing that.
So then you're like, oh shit, that's a time travel
and I was
daughter.
just like, oh no.
It's a time travel mom.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's gonna work out like that. But there was one scene with two girls where one of them was like,
No.
I thought it too. Don't.
Don't.
Damn it.
Don't.
Damn it.
All the same sex relationships are related to each other. So
Yep.
They're not.
Oh, that's so. They marnied us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that sucks. But
It's her head granny all along.
in terms of like the weird side, like Brian, would you agree with me here? Like towards the like when I'm approaching hour 20 now, and some of like the reveals are like, what the fuck? What are you? What?
It really reminds you of like a bunch of fucked up shit will happen, and someone goes, "I gotta get out of this," and they teleport, and then 3 other characters will walk into the room, and they'll be like, "Damn. Who was just here?"
Yeah.
And then there's like a dead robot in the ground, and they're like, they wake up the robot, and the robot's like, "You should have left me dead."
Yeah.
And then that keeps happening.
But like they recently had a big one about like the nature of the city.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, what? Wait, I thought this was. Oh no! And it was very fun.
I really like the Josuke character who's trapped on train platforms.
Oh yeah.
And that's most of his, and you have to keep rewinding and fast forwarding time so he gets on the right train. But then there's secret trains that he needs to get on.
I get really unclear about how to advance the gameplay sometimes.
I didn't love that mechanic.
A couple of times I've had to go on a walkthrough and go, "Oh, okay," because like it feels like a LucasArts or like a DoubleFine game where you need a certain item to progress it.
There was one time where like I got trapped in this scenario and I could not find what to do. I couldn't find anything, and like I had to go trolling through forums, and it was a really unspecific thing. And I think I figured it out eventually, but what I had to do was either drink or not drink a jar of a like little juice box at the start of that chapter, and that would determine about whether I would be able to progress. It was fucking weird.
I ran into something like that as well, where it was like I had to see the cat in the bag or something like that, and I was spent like 30 minutes just going through repeat dialogue over and over again and clearly missing something, and I just couldn't figure it out.
And then sometimes, like, to advance a scene, it feels like it's a complete coin toss whether I think a thought, talk to a character, or walk to the edge of screen. And sometimes I'm like, come on, let's yeah. But it's cool. The way I'm playing it at the moment is like I'll play one battle mission and one story section before bed, and it's really nice for that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I'm having a great time with it.
Should have been more battles, less story. That's my review.
That's the Neve take. I mean, fair. The battle system is like weirdly compelling.
Yeah. That's us for video games.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Except for the news.
We finally beat video games.
No, John, we gotta beat the news.
Oh, there's so much news.
I put down so there was some news already there.
Brian, buddy, what are you doing?
I was like, let's do 5 weeks of news. We got 13 articles here, and
Can we just pick the ones we care about?
Yeah, all of them.
Okay, you guys forgot to intro this section, so Quicktime Events.
Let's go through it. Was E3, or Key 3, as it has become known?
So that started on the 1st of June 2022 with the PlayStation State of Play. I picked some games here. We had the Ori 4 remake confirmed.
Yes.
They just showed a teaser of it.
Yeah.
So this is what I was confused, because I felt like I saw a lot of people being like, it looks so amazing, but then the teaser was just like pretty like what you'd expect from an
Yeah.
RE4 engine.
It was
teaser.
just kind of confirming.
But
and
people
then-
are just pumped about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's a different direct or a different stream later on that kind of goes into it. Street Fighter 6, John,
Do we want to talk about Street Fighter 6 now?
you get 6 seconds. No, you get time.
60 minutes.
No. so-
Okay, let me get. I will get to Street Fighter 6 in a little bit. I just talked about 13 Sentinels a lot, and so my mouth is tired. Let me recover, and I'll.
Okay, there was a game called the Callisto Protocol. I believe that was a horror game, kind of
This
many
is
of
the
Dead.
Dead
That's
Space
the
thing,
horror
right?
sci-fi Dead
Yeah.
Space ex-devs that are making Dead Space.
Yeah, and it's a first-person
That's
shooter.
Callisto Protocol. Instead, where you have a weapon that is like the saws that cut off limbs and you stamp off limbs. And it's not Dead Space, it's Callisto Protocol.
This had potential.
Look cool.
Yeah, look cool.
I'll play it. The Resident Evil 4 remake, I thought it looked great. I liked that it's like Leon Remake's face, but like aged up a little.
Yeah.
And he kind of has that sadder, sicker, but also hotter boy band look from 4. I like the little
Yeah,
teasing.
4 Leon looks like a little vitamin depleted in a nice way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked how you saw a little of like Lewis, like his like new jacket and stuff, and Ada, and a bit of Sherry as well.
Yeah, they showed more Final
Sorry,
Fa-
Ashley, not Sherry.
Ashley.
Sherry's the little girl from 2.
Yeah.
Yes, with the cool shorts. Final Fantasy 16 seems to be very summon based. They were all there.
Yeah, the narrative seems to be all around summons, that there's different summons and there's going to be different characters that can transform, I guess, into the summons. And I guess, like, for me as a longtime Final Fantasy fan, a thing I've really liked about Final Fantasy is the party, like the team.
They didn't show the party or explain who is or isn't in the party.
There is no party. He's a solo guy. The most they're gonna do is like he'll pair up with people for like different periods, but it'll go through his life.
There's no
from,
gang?
like a teenager to a young man to a man in his 30s, like an older man in his
man
30s. But yeah, it's not party based. It's he's solo bolo, except for like, I guess they said there will be times where he's paired up with someone,
Square.
and he has a dog.
What are you doing? What are we doing here?
They're making
that
games.
dog's so dead.
I don't know, with this I am more positive about it giving the team behind it. Like narratively I think it could be interesting. I guess for me the trailer seemed a bit dour. Like it wasn't very fun. It wasn't very camp. But I guess this is what they're going for, and I have to put that version of Final Fantasy aside and get into men with beards talking.
I mean, I guess that's the other side of it as well. It's like if they're going for something different, we should be like, okay, look, they're not trying to do what we want them to do, but maybe what they want to do is good.
I think at the end of this, they said this game is coming out in 2023.
Yeah.
Is it?
They said it's finished. They said what they're doing is polished now, but Forsaken was also pushed again. Forspoken? Whatever that one is.
I think Forspoken. Are you excited about Forspoken?
I'm not excited about it, but I'll play it. That has been pushed again into January, so it could be pushed, but I feel like it's done.
Okay. They showed off Stray, which is the game where you play as a stray cat in a futuristic world occupied by robots. This game was meant to come out in Spring 22, and Spring 22 came and went. And I was like, where's my cat game? Then they showed it here, and the game is out in like a week or two, and I can't wait.
I hope it's good.
I hope so too. I just think that cat's really cool. He has a bag.
I look forward to playing this game if other people are like, you should play this game.
Okay, John, do you want to talk about Street Fighter 6?
Okay. How do you guys feel about Street Fighter 6?
Thought it's alright.
Yeah, as an outsider, when we first saw the first trailer, I was kind of like, well, that doesn't look great. But with this trailer, I was like, oh, it's cool that they're in Metro City, and there's like, I really like that there's like an arcade, like a story mode where you can kind of go around.
Yeah, I didn't like the logo, but now I do.
They
changed
it.
the logo.
Yeah, I like it better now.
But I like the Metro City bit, and I like that you can go around it. I thought the animation looked really, really nice. Like I thought it looked really fluid. I'm still like not 100% there with the art style. Like I think some characters look way cooler than others.
I mean, I think a lot of the leaked characters look great.
Yeah.
I think Jamie and Luke are the worst characters they've ever done.
They don't get me excited.
Yeah. Here's my condemnation of Jamie especially. It's like a month after that trailer, I haven't seen a single piece of fan art for him.
I liked how he moved though. His animations were nice.
I mean, he does drunken boxing.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, his design wasn't the most exciting.
Oh, guys, I've been on a journey with Street Fighter 6. I was messaging you guys one night. I was quite drunk.
He was having a whinge.
Quite upset. I was being a bit of a baby. But I stand by the fact that I think that first trailer was bad.
Yeah, it was.
And then in this trailer, they showed off a lot of stuff, and the big thing that my brain just latched onto was Chun-Li's design. And I really still don't like it. It's hard because with Chun-Li, you have Street Fighter 2 Chun-Li, which is traditional Chun-Li, and then you have Street Fighter Alpha Chun-Li, which is like her in like the sneakers and like the kind of tracksuit thing. Two of the best designs ever. I love them so much, and I think they encapsulate what is so great and just kind of beautiful about Street Fighter's design. What I love about Street Fighter design, like especially like kind of, it's there in Street Fighter 2, but it kind of really took like prominence in like the Alpha series, is like it's this kind of combination of streetwear and like fightwear. So you think of Sakura, like what's so fucking cool about her design? It's like a really typical sailor uniform, but then she's got like, you know, she's got the high top sneakers, and she has like the fighting gloves, and she has the headband. Like it's these little touches, but it looks so cool. You look at Chun-Li's original design, she has like the really traditional like Chinese dress, and it looks like really elegant but like really strong as well. But then she has like these fucking spiked bracers and these combat boots, and it's such a mishmash of styles, but it just looks so iconic. New Chun-Li, she just looks like a business owner.
I feel like she's fallen into the older woman trap.
Yeah.
Where Ryu, they give him a beard and make him more grizzled. He's
Ryu looks very sexy.
Yeah, I feel like with Chun-Li, she kind of reminds me a little of Master from Shenmue.
And like, I understand how you get to that decision, like how
should
you
look
come
more
to
like
that.
Carry-On Moss or something.
Yeah,
she's her age.
I feel like a lot of these games struggle to do older women.
I'm trying to think of one good older woman design from a fighting game, and I'm really struggling. I know there's one.
Ivy Soul Calibur.
Yeah,
she older,
the
just
exact
great.
older woman. But like, I don't know. I feel, you know what?
Who's
like,
the woman with the tiger in Tekken?
Oh,
I mean, she's old in age, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, but she looks. She is glowing.
Take a fucking stone-faced little old woman, have her like 4 foot tall, put her in a beat-up karate gi. Perfect.
Make Chun-Li tiny.
Yeah, make her tiny. But her design really bummed me out because I felt like they had lost that like street fashion fighting, like crossed with fighting, and it just, like, to be honest with you, she kind of looks like a shopkeeper from an RPG. I feel like
she doesn't look like instantly recognizable or like iconic in the way those designs usually are.
She doesn't look like someone who could kick your head in.
I did like her little moment in the trailer where she's training the other girl. She kind of just like tips her head.
Did you like what they did with Ken?
You didn't like that?
I think the close-up of her shoes bothered me because she's wearing these dainty little shoes. And it's like, oh my God.
John, did you
should
like
be
Ken?
a boot. She should be kicking her with her Doc Martin.
She should. Yeah, that's how you fix that design. Yeah, I like the fact that Ken looks like a sad divorced dad.
How about the new characters that leaked?
Have you guys fucking seen Marissa?
The big boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! That's so fucking cool. There's so many great designs in those new ones. I don't love all of them, but a lot of them are fantastic. I love the white-haired girl. I love the new American girl. She looks fucking awesome. That they really look good. And this is where I kind of started to turn around on Street Fighter. I was like you, Neve, I really wasn't too sold on like the art style or anything. But then when I saw the actual gameplay of it, that's when I started getting excited. That's when I was like, oh, this looks cool. And
the animation's nice.
have you guys like seen like the supers?
Yeah.
They are fucking brutal. Like, they look so great. If people haven't seen Cammy's leaked super, it literally looks like someone that should tear the head off their opponents. And I love that so much because, like, 4 had really great super animations. 5, they kind of sucked. To be honest with you, there's like no good supers in 5. Like, I don't get that real kinetic joy when I land a super, but the new supers in 6 are so good, and there's all these like variants of them. But then, and at this point, I was in Calgary and I met up with Wooly, and Wooly sat me down and basically walked me through how this game plays. And it's so interesting. It's so weird and it's so different. You basically have a parry bar in this. So you can parry like you can in Third Strike, although it works a bit different in Third Strike. But every time you do, it drains like a pip of this meter. But the kicker is that meter is also used for your EX moves. So like you're like basically charged up fireballs, like your really advanced special moves. So it's this really interesting decision-making process of like, do you want to become this like defensive god, or do you want to go all in on offense? And they feed off the same meter. And I love any fighting game, any game that puts player expression at the forefront. And this really feels like it's doing that. So that stuff, I'm now at the point where I'm really hyped about Street Fighter 6. But to be honest with you, what I'm kind of excited about is this is the first time I've seen other people excited about Street Fighter in a long time. I can remember, like, even when Street Fighter 5 came out, the general reaction was like, yeah, looks like 4, yeah. And then, like, you know, so I like Street Fighter 5. It eventually really got there, but like, it never set the world on fire. It never really, you know, was a big phenomenon. But like, the hype around 6 feels real and feels cool in a way 5 never did.
It feels like whenever you've spoken about some fighting games, you always feel like this is a base for them to build on. This feels very feature rich from the start.
And I hope it is. I really hope it is.
Because like, even like, I know it's a little thing, but even the character portraits that you can change in the fighting at this before a match starts, and like it's kind of Soul Calibur-esque, where they kind of yell at each other and grimace at each other, and just kind of these little touches of expression. I feel like if you're at that point in a game where you can mess with character portraits at the start of a game, you're pretty far along and you're pretty confident with it. And I feel everything I've seen from it, it feels like a more confident offering from them than 5 did.
And because 5's launched with nothing.
Yeah, nothing. That was a game for crazy people. I hope that they do these characters right, because like I get it. I get that like fighting game characters, people aren't expecting like a lot of story or something, but I think there is genuinely cool stuff in Street Fighter. It's not complicated stuff, but it is cool. Like, Ryu has a character. Like, Ryu made life decisions to like basically just be a fighter, and like Third Strike actually explored that in like interesting ways. I'd like to see that level of kind of gravitas brought back to the fighters, and not just be like, oh, he's a kooky man from Russia. Like, I don't need that. You know, I think there's more to these characters than that, and I hope this game delivers on it. But all in all, feeling pretty goddamn positive about Street Fighter 6. I'm excited. Let's do this. It looks cool. I'm really excited for more to come out, even though they've said that they're going dark for the next couple of months. But yeah, it's good.
Okay, next stream was the limited run games on the 6th of June. This was a quick one. They're a fun indie distributor. They had a game called Frogun, which...
What are frogs?
I'll get to the frogs.
Okay.
Frogun is a low poly game where you plays a kid with a frog gun, and it's out in August, and I'm very curious about this. It's coming out on like every platform. They had the River City Girls 2. John?
I feel like that game looks a bit too similar to the first.
Probably is, and I'd say the devs were in between that and the new Turtles game, and I wonder who worked on which.
I mean, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah. Blossom Tales 2, which I'm very happy about. That is I very much enjoyed Blossom Tales 1.
I thought you were kind of lukewarm on that.
After playing other less good Zelda likes Blossom Tales, I appreciate that game. There was Sonic Central on the 7th of June, and the Sonic fans are not happy about Sonic Frontiers.
Okay, I don't think Sonic Frontiers looks that bad.
It looks better in later trailers, but there's been a timeline with Sonic Frontiers where it went from like people like demanding that they postpone the game.
Yeah.
Because
what do you think of it, Neve?
Because apparently it worked with the movie that it would work with the game.
I don't know, it didn't look great. It looked very barren.
Yeah, it looked empty.
And very to me Sonic is so colorful, and it looked very like drab.
Sure, yeah.
But then they showed, I think it's in a later stream, but they showed the like mission levels, and they're kind of like you are in these colorful
cyberspace,
and they look great.
Yeah.
But it's just some of what they've shown in this game looks very underwhelming, and then other bits look good. But yeah, I think it's out soon enough.
Yeah, I feel like there's been 6 different trailers and they've been better each time.
Yeah. Sega take risks. They don't always work, but Nintendo don't. Sega do. Gotta commend them for that.
I mean, Sega do what Nintendo don't. It's true.
Then you have Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest on the 9th of June.
This was way worse than the one last year, last year.
And The Last of Us Part 1 remake leaked 1 hour before.
Yeah.
Which is very funny.
Can I be a total dickhead?
Yeah.
I hope this game fails.
It should, because it needs to.
Look,
because they don't need to make this game.
No disrespect to the people working on it, so talented, and I want the best for them. I want this game to fail dramatically because I don't want this to continue.
But it won't.
I know.
It's going to coincide with the release of the TV show.
That's why I'm spending the genie wish, Neve.
Yeah.
That's what's going to do it, because I just... Come on, guys. Like, Last of Us still looks fucking great.
Maybe it was just like last year's Summer Game Fest, like we were still in COVID lockdowns, and I think maybe it felt like more of a treat or something. But this one really felt dull. Like last one as well, there was 2 musical numbers. There was Weezer, which was interesting because it was weird, and everyone was like, Weezer, why? And then there was the Japanese Breakfast, who did the Sable soundtrack, and that was really great. And this had no musical features, ran for the full 2 fucking hours, and was just really drawn out and really, really boring. And then there was just like ads in between it for video. It was just... And like Keighley beforehand kind of was trying to set expectations, like there isn't a lot of stuff. If there isn't a lot of stuff, don't make it 2 hours long. Make it an hour long. Like cut it down.
MiHoYo, who are the developers of Genshin Impact, they are printing money.
Yeah.
So they have 2 new titles in development. There's Honkai Star Rail, which is a sci-fi game, and then there's Zenless Zone Zero, which I guess is a kind of near future urban game.
That's a fun name to say.
Yes. I thought Zenless Zone Zero looked really good, and I hope I never play it because I would get addicted to this game, because I bet it's...
Do we know it's going to be free to play?
Oh, it's all going to be the same. Yeah. I don't think they're going to
They have a business model, and it makes them money, so...
So you kind of look at those games and you're like, wow, I'd pay €60 for that, and then it's just like, no, it's definitely gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they ended on The Last of Us Part 1 remake, and they also ended on a still from the Factions multiplayer, which is now its own separate thing. So the really egregious thing to me about the remake, it's like, you know, it doesn't need to happen or whatever, or you can be like, no, I actually really want to play this with the combat from 2. The fact that they're separating out Factions from this, and they're charging €70 for this remake is just kind of shocking. Like it should be at least 40 in my mind. I feel like Factions, when Sony was kind of saying they have a few like free-to-play games in the works, I feel like this could be one of them. I don't know if they will charge for it, because this seems the exact type of game that Sony would like to push as a free-to-play like multiplayer shooter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'd be shocked if this was a €70 game.
Yeah, I would be shocked if they charged for this.
Like that game Ghost of Tsushima has like a standalone chapter that you can download for free, and it's kind of just like a taster. Mm-hmm. This could be that. Like it could be the same kind of approach to that.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that way, because they said they have them in the works, and like if they're gonna pull it out and make it its own thing, then that seems primed to be exactly that, to be their kind of multiplayer game. Any of you interested in playing The Last of Us Part 1 remake?
Absolutely not. No. I could not give a fuck.
No. The game is 9 years old. It's not even 10 years old.
I didn't like it that much the first time.
Yeah.
Then there was Day of the Devs, which is a collaboration between Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit, which is another indie publisher, distributor. So Us Two Games, who made Monument Valley and Alba Wildlife Adventure, they have a new game called Desta: The Memories Between, which looked promising. There was 2 Japanese indie games. One was called Fox and Frog Travelers: The Demon of Adashino Island, and this was, I think it was a 3D game that's going to be a while before it comes out. But then the other thing was a game called Goodbye World, which is apparently out very soon. and this kind of had like a pixel art style that had like the RGB very, very split, and this looked very promising. So I'm curious about this game. Then there was Devolver Digital the same day. Neve, did you watch this?
No, I didn't watch it. I know.
It seemed like with Devolver Digital, they were showing a lot of stuff that had already been announced. They were just elaborating on it. But the one that really stood out to me was the Plucky Squire. And so this is done by Pokemon artist James Turner, who has a really nice art style.
Yes, I've seen this. So it starts off as a picture book.
Yeah, and you're like, that's super cool. And then it just elaborates, and it's like, this looks fucking brilliant. And it all takes place on the desk, or maybe it doesn't, I don't know. But just the fact that it's like a drawing that comes to life, and then he's a 3D model, and this had me very excited. Then we had the Wholesome Games Direct. I watched this last year, and I loved it. This year's one was mixed. So I've written down here, there was a lot of frog games, which is a big yay. But I think they know to make frog games, because I think frogs are very...
We've definitely reached some kind of critical limit or something here.
See, frogs are adaptable and malleable. You can do a lot with frogs. There was a lot of farming sim games, which, you know, that's cool, but I think people who play farming sim games kind of have a go-to game, and they probably don't deviate beyond that. And a lot of these games are announced with crowdfunding. I don't know how you guys feel about that now.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, like...
There's very few games I would do that for.
Like, the big one that comes to my mind is Shenmue 3 when they did that. And
that
like,
worked out pretty good.
It worked out pretty good. But, like, they're using this platform, all eyes are on them, and they're like, here's a game, but we're trying to make it. Here's the Kickstarter. It's a bit of a kick in the shin.
Yeah, it does kind of fill me with the, like... I now, okay, from the game dev point of view, of course you do this, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, maybe this is how your game gets made. But, yeah, it doesn't fill me with confidence about a project. Like, I think if I see this, I'm taking it off like things I'm anticipating, because who knows when it's coming out.
Yeah. Then Netflix had an announcement section, but I want to tie this in with Dragon Age. Nia, if you want to take this one.
Oh yeah, with Dragon Age, they've basically they announced its name, which is Dreadwolf. Solus is the Dreadwolf, so we know where that game is going. They have been just drip feeding stuff from this series forever. I feel like they should go dark until they actually have a trailer and some gameplay, because they've just been here's a concept art.
I feel like it's 2 or 3 years ago we saw like the dragon in the desert concept art, and it's like, Jesus, guys.
It's just like, and like I always see every time they release something, the Dragon Age fans on my timeline just go insane, and they need it. But I'm just like, I would be much happier if they just went dark and we got a trailer, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making a show, a Netflix adaptation.
Yeah.
I don't care about Netflix adaptations anymore.
No, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Then
Panty and Stockings back. Wow, okay.
Season 2. Apparently they've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and they got the rights back because Gainax don't make anything anymore.
No.
It's just a dude in an office on a phone.
You want to fucking get depressed? Go like down Gainax's Wikipedia page and just watch as they start to make more and more shows you've never heard of.
And like, Anno formed Kara, and then Kara sued Gainax because he wasn't paid for Evangelion. It's a whole thing. Okay, the Xbox and Bethesda games showcase.
This was also too long. Like, this could have been cut in half as well. They started with like Redfall, which is the arcane vampire multiplayer, but you can definitely play it single player, as they keep saying, as part of the marketing. That looked cool. That was probably one of the more interesting things for me.
They showed Hollow Knight Silk Song, which is cool, and they said it's
date.
And there's no date. I think it's so funny. I think if they just do it every couple of years, they just like show more of how cool this game looks and never release it. That would just be very funny. I can't wait for Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Hideo Kojima confirms that he's making a new game. I thought that was really funny. He just like showed up on like a video call and was like, "Yeah, making a game.
I'm doing it." Hangs up the call.
Yeah. no concept art,
Yeah,
no
nothing.
idea about what it is.
I am
like,
doing the
just-
thing that I have been doing for 30 years.
It is like they did mention cloud gaming, and that like tracks with all the rumors about it, that he's been making a cloud game for them. There's also rumors that he's making a horror game. Maybe that's one and the same. Who knows?
Yeah. A Plague Tale Requiem is out this year, I think.
Hell yeah, I'll play that.
And then what was Cocoon? I can't remember what Cocoon was.
I don't know. You put it down there, Brian.
Yeah, what the fuck is Cocoon? Look, we're all really, really excited about Cocoon.
Oh, fuck, you want to know Game of the Year on whatever year it comes out? Sorry, Elden Ring. Sorry, Last of Us Remake. Sorry, Cuphead DLC.
It's Cocoon.
Yeah, it's Cocoon.
It's Cocoon.
Yeah, Todd Howard appeared.
They brought him out and he was real happy.
Shut up, Todd Howard. Fuck off.
Todd
I'm
Howard-
sorry, but
Todd Howard came out.
go away.
He came out and he told the fucking truth about Starfield. Is this game that's been like in development for like a decade?
Ever.
This is Skyrim in space.
Yeah.
Jesus.
When I saw the like mining, I was just like, I was like, okay, it's this.
The last game you'll ever need to play.
Yeah.
Capcom Showcase June 13th. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak DLC.
Which I
you
think
guys
just
seen
came
the
out.
fucking nutty sales for that.
Yeah, people love it.
2 million in the first week.
Wow.
DLC, like, insane.
Man, I might even beat the Cuphead DLC.
Nothing could beat the Cuphead DLC. It's going to be our game of the year. Resident Evil Village DLC.
Shadows of Rose, which follows Ethan's daughter Rose.
I was super excited about this because when it comes to like Resident Evil DLC, you're going to get either something wacky or you're going to get Chris Redfield with a gun.
Yeah.
And because the end of that game is just Chris Redfield with a bunch of fucking guns, I was just like, oh, please don't do it. But they also knew what people liked about it, so I was super happy to see that it follows Rose.
Yeah, because she's really pushed in the last 2 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like,
She gets
who?
all the shine in
And you're
those
like-
last 2 minutes.
And you're like, who? But no.
Do we know when this is out?
I think this update is coming October, but
It's
I
not
could be
really
wrong.
going to be relevant for Game of the Year, though. Right?
No, my but I was like, I'm very happy that it's Rose, because like I think even the last time we were talking about Village, we were saying we hope it sticks to the ending and what it committed to, with killing off Ethan. So like I'm excited that it's Rose.
I still think back to Village very fondly. Like, I think the further away I get from that game, the more I'm like, what a weird, stupid thing.
Yeah.
Now you can replay it in third person, because that's part of the DLC too,
I
which
thought
I
that
think
was neat.
is super neat, and I'm gonna absolutely replay it in third person just to see how it feels. Also, Mercenaries got some a bunch of new characters. One of them being Lady D, and one of
Wait,
her moves,
what?
yeah, and one of
Yeah.
her moves is to throw her dresser at enemies. So
Fucking
hell
brilliant.
Yeah. They know what they're doing. Then this is 2 weeks after
Was there
that.
not some VR announcement for...
Yeah, you can
Yes.
play Resident Evil 4 Remake in VR, and you
Brian,
can
you
play
watched this
Village in
announcement
VR.
with my girlfriend, and she said...
Oh, I do an impression of VR. Well, I can't really do it on the podcast, but have you noticed the first-person VR games, the hands are just like this the whole time? Mm-hmm. And, like, you're like Frankenstein the whole time. And, like, yeah, like, you're there, but you don't do that with your hands. But the hands need to be, like... Or, like, it's kind of like a dog begging with the paws out all the fucking time.
It's like mitts.
Yeah, they're like, you got your mittens out for Santa for
So
Christmas.
Michelle learned that, like, there was a, like, Lady D VR coming, and she was like, I'm going to lose you, haven't I?
Yes.
They showed off gameplay for the RE4 remake, and it looked good.
I actually haven't seen this yet. It looks cool, does it? Yeah. Did they show off, like, much details or anything?
Not really.
Not really, but it's definitely one of those things where, like, I'm sure you can watch a YouTube video where someone's like slowed it down and is way more
Yeah, okay.
than there is, but it was comprehensive if you comb through it.
I'm really excited for this. I hope they introduce some of the elements that they cut from the original 4, like maybe Leon being like infected, or the Leon nightmare scenes and shit.
The bit where he hallucinates and he sees the hook man. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
I mean, I hope they go for it.
Yeah.
That would be great.
So this game is out in March 2023, before the tax year ends,
Yep.
and I bet they'll do a demo in January.
You
Absolutely.
think so?
They
I mean, they have.
They always do it. So yeah, look forward to all of that, I guess. And then you have this another one here about Sony leaks again.
This is another leak from Sony. They really, I don't know, they're really bad for them. But artwork for Tactics Ogre Reborn came up on the PlayStation Store. So
I've
yeah, it came
never,
up on a
I've never
list.
played like a Tactics Ogre game. Have you, Neve?
I have not played Ogre, but I've played Final Fantasy Tactics.
Because this is originally a SNES game, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it got ported to PlayStation 1.
It's one of those like RPG series where like the people who love it fucking love it, but then no one else ever talks about it. And I've always been curious.
Yeah. There was the Nintendo Direct Mini towards the end of June, the partner showcase. They had Nier Automata at the end of Yorha edition. So there's the Yorha edition, but this is the end of Yorha edition. And it was really funny in the Direct because they tried to explain Nier Automata as if you've never heard of it. And it's like, it's 5 years later. And
They always do that in directs. They always act like
You
this is the
idiot.
first time.
yeah. Because that game came out 5 years ago.
Hell yeah.
And I bet there's like some kids who were like 14, 15 at the time when Nier came out and Nier Automata came out and they never played it. Now they're 19, 20. They will probably play this game. And there's going to be a whole new audience and there's going to be a whole bunch of new fan art.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
And there was some cool costumes in this. I don't know how well it'll run on the Switch.
Hopefully well enough. It
mean,
isn't a
it
very
ran on
graphically
a-
heavy
Yeah,
game,
that's true.
you know?
Yeah.
Was it a 360 it ran on?
No, PS3.
No.
PS3?
Yeah.
Wait.
PS4.
PS4. It was
PS4, okay.
Yeah. PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, no. Nier was 360.
Yeah. Yes. The Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. This looked good. Did this have the online connectivity with it? I can't remember if it does or not. Because I know there's a huge online community with this game. And they've modded like the GBA carts to play it online and have their own like server. Because people love Mega Man Battle Network.
No idea.
Yeah, people are crazy for those games.
Yeah, so I hope they're happy. Then there was Pac-Man World Repack. This is a platformer for the PlayStation.
This was such a weird cut.
Fucking, I'm so excited.
Is it because you main Pac-Man and Smash?
Yeah, I love Pac-Man. Pac-Man's fucking stupid.
Pretty stupid.
Half the Pac-Man games are the worst thing ever, and then the other half are kind of like, oh, we should check that out. Pac-Man. And then
Item number 13.
the last one, and I put this one, I'm going to read it out. The international release of Crayon Shin-Chan, My Summer Vacation with the Professor, will be out in August on both PS4
Oh,
and
cool.
Nintendo Switch.
Yay.
This came out in Japan about a year ago, and it's Shin-Chan with these amazing backgrounds. It's a childhood summer simulator from that original series that I can't remember. I think it's called like My Summer Vacation.
Attack of the Friday Monsters?
Yeah, Attack the Friday Monsters is kind of part of that, but this is the Shin-Chan version of that, and it looks so good. And I did not think this game would get localized in the West, but it is, and I am so excited.
Sounds dope.
It doesn't say when in August, but it's out in August.
And those are all the games from the start of last month.
Yeah, we are so excited for Cocoon.
Yeah.
Yesterday's news, today, tomorrow.
Yep. Let's fight a boss.
Yeah.
Today's news, eventually.
Okay, I need to see what Cocoon is. Sorry.
Other stuff that happened in Keely's Game Fest, it was just like sci-fi horror games one after another, which was
What
really
about
weird.
the wall penis game?
Oh, the H.R. Geiger inspired one? That's coming out this year. God, what's it called? Like,
It's called like Shiver
Or Slither, or-
something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Snivel.
It's called Scorn. God damn it.
Okay. This game Cocoon is made by the people who made Limbo and Inside,
oh.
and it looks kind of neat. I don't know. It's
The Rock video was weird,
yeah.
where he was like just like
Enjoy your
talking.
gaming.
Yeah, enjoy your games, whatever nerds.
That was
buy my
kind of
drink.
that was right up there with Usher's Happy Easter Xbox.
Yeah.
The Rock originally announced the Xbox like 20 years ago. I wonder if it was a callback to that.
I don't know. It felt really phoned in. He didn't even put a shirt on.
I don't know. Rock needs to come back to WWE so Roman Reigns can beat his ass.
Do you guys want to do some emails?
I do.
Let's take a sprinkling of emails.
Okay. Do you want to say the emails thing?
Ask Let's Win a Boss. My brain started going,
No.
emails?
No.
Let's
Emails.
emails. Oh, I think we should chorus it from now on. That's pretty good. Do you all want to chorus it together?
Okay, no. How about we do like a 1 second delay off each other? So John, Brian, you, okay?
Okay.
Emails. Oh, we're like sinister email goblins.
askletsfightAboss@gmail.com.
askletsfightAboss@gmail.com.
I only want one email.
Holy shit. Okay, this better be the best email of all time.
You lot are listening right now. I want one of you to email us. If I get 2 emails, have a chat amongst each other and redact one of them.
Okay.
We just want one.
If it's not redacted by the time we record the next episode, podcast's over.
Yeah, we're not doing
it anymore.
Yeah.
So decide which one of you wants to send the email.
And also, don't be coy when none of you send an email. We want one.
Oh, if none of you sends an email, podcast over.
Yeah. So just time it nicely.
Mm-hmm. All you get together, have your little conversation.
Send in that one email, okay? If I get 2 emails, I don't know what I'll do.
I'll delete every episode of this podcast. I'll make it so you never hear our voices again.
He'll do it.
It's true. I've been threatened to do it for a long time.
He would do it. Sorry, there was an email here. I was like, we should read that, but we actually read it, so I don't want to read it because we already read it. I have one here.
No, not that one.
Okay, Neve, me and you were in small talk to fill time while Brian finds an email.
I have one.
How's it going, buddy?
Fuck. He has one.
Okay.
You don't have to... Here. Did we do this one?
How's it going, buddy, Neve?
Good. Did I tell you my Tomb Raider story?
No, go for it.
Okay, so I got an email the other day and it was from the Guinness World Record holder of the largest Tomb Raider collection in the world.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. TombRaiderCollection.com, I'm pretty sure
Neve,
it is.
this is not B material.
I know.
This should have come out in the intro of the podcast.
I didn't know how to slip it in.
This is way better than the fake wedding
Fuck
gift.
the shitty email.
I didn't know how to slip it in. But this guy emails me and he says, hey, I saw you post an album on your Twitter that was signed by Rona Mitra. And Rona Mitra played one of the original Tomb Raider like pinup girls.
Yeah, okay.
She also
Was
released...
she the one on the Late Late Show?
Yes.
Are you serious?
No, she wasn't the Late Late Show, was she?
I
Around that period. It's either
Okay.
her or another one.
That's still one
How
of
about she's at your wedding?
I would do a Rona Mitra. Yeah.
Whoa, that's not what he said.
I love Rona Mitra at my wedding. Anyway, she also is famous for doing a album as Lara Croft. It's called Female Icon and it's pretty bad. But I happened to buy from a German collector from Discogs because, of course, a copy of the promo version of that album with Rona Mitra's signature on it. And she signed it as Lara Croft. So she wrote Lara C.
So it's like Lara Croft signed it.
Lara Croft
You can't
signed
argue with that. Yeah.
Female Icon, a promo sleeve version of this album. So Rodrigo emails me and he says, hey, I'm the Guinness World Record holder and I want to buy your CD. And I didn't buy this to sell it. I bought it because I thought it was cool and I don't ever buy stuff to flip. So it wasn't even in my mind to sell it. But I have always had this issue when someone's like, I want your thing, that I just kind of give it to them and it's been an issue forever. So I was just like, oh, I should just sell it to him. And Rebecca was like, but you don't want to sell it. You never thought about selling it. And I was like, you're right. I should message Brian. And I messaged Brian about it and Brian was like, charge him $1,000. And
But then I went higher.
Yeah, but then he went to 10 grand.
Now, I do feel like by him presenting himself as the world record holder, he is maybe asking for that a little bit.
Yeah, he did. He sent me to his website and I said, I'm actually a fan of your website because I've been there to cross-reference some of the stuff I own with his stuff. I actually have some other items he doesn't have, but that's beyond the point. His collection is like he owns the screen-used clothes that Angelina had on her body. Like this guy is in love with Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
I feel like this might get back to him, Neve.
I don't think he's going to listen this deep into an episode.
That's true.
He found the image because I had tagged it as Tomb Raider and Rona Mitra, and it wasn't anything through the podcast.
Okay.
So I really don't think he's going to.
I think people might send it to him.
Don't. Stop. Well, what I'm saying is, so he made me an offer, and the offer was pretty fucking low.
He's clearly a wealthy man.
Yeah, he owns the largest collection. He offered me €100 to buy my signed album. And I said, Thank you for the offer, but I'm not interested in selling right now. But if I ever do, I'll keep you in mind," which was very polite of me.
It's a good response.
So he sent me a message back and he was like, "If it was too low an offer, I can go higher," and I haven't responded. And now I have a modest Tomb Raider collection, but what I do have is the album that I denied to the person with the largest Tomb Raider collection in the world that has been in the Guinness Book of World Records.
You should be like, "How about one of them Angelina suits?" Like, Neve, make him give something up.
Well, that's what Brian was like, 100 to nothing to this guy.
Yeah, it's not. Like, you owning this is worth more than anything he could offer.
I know, and that's kind of exciting to
You
me.
have the control. So you go, nah.
And I said, nah. And he was
What do you think you would let it go for?
I don't have a lot of money, so like $350. No, I'm not. I don't want to let it go. Like I don't know, probably a grand. Probably a grand is probably what I would let it go for. It's not worth that. It is a promo sleeve that is difficult to get. It is signed by Ronan Mitra as Lara Croft, but it is not worth that money, and I don't expect him to pay that. But I'm not going to sell it.
But see, at this point, this guy's collecting to complete, and when you're completing,
Yeah.
you do some weird grindy shit.
I know, yeah. He owns it. He also, he doesn't own a call card I have and the Weetabix promo hat, but that's a different thing.
Yeah.
He can get the Weetabix promo hat quite easily. But, I don't know. It was a weird one where I felt kind of like I'd never considered selling it before, but then I was just like, oh shit, this is worth way more than I ever thought it was. That's strange.
You know, sometimes, Neve, I'll hear sponsorship offers out from companies I know I won't work with, just so I can be like, no. And sometimes they get kind of freaked out and they're like, but then what do you want?
I feel like I'm in that position.
It's a good position.
I don't know, I feel kind of weird about it.
No.
I feel like there's someone lying awake at night being like, what does she want for this?
Okay, let's change the inflection there a little bit. I feel like there's someone lying awake at night thinking, what does she want? And that means I have the power and they have nothing.
Yeah.
It's true.
Neve, that's an exceptional piece of small talk. Well done.
That was
Thank
really
you.
good. Which leads us into our email.
Thanks,
This
Brian.
is from Sean, and it is called Animal Fights.
Okay.
Hello, Johnny, boy, and Near.
It's pretty good.
I saw a tiny bird beating up a falcon in my neighborhood the other day and wondered what you think of animal fights. Now, we've already talked about a crow fighting a seagull, so we think very highly of them. Specifically, when a small animal beats up a bigger, deadly animal, do you cheer for the small animal for being brave or look down on the bigger animal for weakness? What animal fights would you like to see? And who would...
See, this gets so dark because there is definitely some multinational corporate executive actually playing this out in some skyscraper loft garden.
Oh, there used to be a channel I used to watch called Bug Fights. It wasn't good.
Yeah, bug fights made me really sad.
Yeah. No. One animal must be at a clear disadvantage and it must be a one-on-one. Thank you for being the world's strongest video game podcast. P.S. I would hope that you wouldn't lose to a smaller, weaker podcast. We would not.
Oh,
okay.
we absolutely would not.
So I've seen a lot of where it's like a little kitten swiping at a big dog and the big dog doesn't know what to do and the big dog just keels over. And that's fucking hilarious. And for me, it's you're rooting for the little guy, but when the big guy takes the hit and he's just on the ground selling it, that's when you have the laugh at the fucking big animal.
I always remember I was watching this crazy woman in my old estate used to feed the foxes.
Oh dear.
And there was a cat overeating the fox's chicken. And I was far enough away I couldn't do anything about it, but I saw this fox creeping up behind the cat, and the fox was like 4 times the size of the cat. And I was like, oh my god, what the fuck am I about to witness? And then right at the last second, the cat turns around and just fucking smacks the fox, and the fox runs. The fox is out of my line of sight in 2 seconds. It was awesome.
I really respect cats for that. Their just ability to stop a dog or something in its tracks.
They really cast a larger shadow than what they have. Bears are kind of interesting because bears are very intimidating, but they very like I think their depth perception isn't very good and their sense of scale isn't very good, so they can fall to the trick of thinking that they're smaller than what's actually smaller than them.
I once watched a 5-minute video of a karate man fighting a real bear. It was really sad. It was just really sad. I hated it. It was one of the very few videos I've ever watched where I was like, I wish I didn't watch this.
I'm being quiet right now, and it's because I have a similar situation where it was a video of like a raccoon fighting like an iguana. And I think it's Florida where there's a surplus of iguanas just everywhere.
There are, yeah.
And like, it was just like fucking throwing it around by the tail. And it was like, it started off being like, oh, he's just like throwing it. And then it just became so brutal so quickly. So that it's like
the
one
raccoon
of those,
was throwing the iguana?
Yeah, just kind of smashing it, to be honest. That it's kind of like, it's kind of burned in my mind as something fucked up. Brian is losing his shit laughing at it.
Okay, I can stop Brian immediately. Brian, this is our version of the man eating the dragonfly.
I hate that video so much. I hate that guy. That dude is so lame. He ate that little girl's dragonfly.
What?
Oh, it's
such a fucking bad
It's
video.
the worst video I've ever seen. It's just a dude eating a little girl's dragonfly.
So it's not the worst video I've ever seen, but it's one of those things where like it took like, you know the way just different fucked up videos touch people in different ways? This one just ruins Brian. I understand it, it's upsetting, but it doesn't affect me the same way, but it makes Brian so sad.
Oh, like, I'm fine with animals being dicks to each other in the wild. That's just nature.
Oh, I don't know. Do you ever see some of those videos of monkey packs and the shit they do to other monkey packs?
Oh, I've seen videos of like killer whales flipping penguins and shit.
Okay, but this is different. This is a bunch of different monkeys pinning down a monkey and
so
just
funny.
yeah, that's funny. That's
like
really
flipping
funny.
a seal, and you're just like,
But Brian, this is monkeys pinning down other monkeys and just pulling their hands off.
No, monkey, don't do
Yeah,
that.
it's not as fun as the whale flipping.
that's fucking sick.
Animals are so weird.
Yeah, what an upsetting question. Who sent this in?
Animal fights
Sean.
is never going to be fun.
Sean, you're banned. I'm sorry, you're banned
Okay,
from the podcast.
here's one fun animal fight story I have. My old dog Piper, she was a lurcher. She ran into a bundle of crows and she likes to sillily chase them, you know, and to have them fly in the air. No real malice on her part. She was just running because she runs fast. The crow started swooping and like attacking her ass all across the pitch, and she runs really fast, and when she's terrified she runs faster, so she's just running really hysteric loops while crows are dive bombing her and picking at her butt specifically. I was both very worried for her, but it was also very, very funny.
How did you resolve the situation?
She calmed down and she came to me, and the birds didn't come close to us, but it felt much longer than it was. It was a very quick moment, but yeah, she got attacked by crows.
Those cormorants, you gotta be careful.
Yeah. Okay, let's do one more email.
One more
because
email.
animal fights turns out kind of a fucked up question.
Who sent that email? Sean, I'm sorry, Sean, you're not banned. But just, you fucking watch it, buddy.
Sean's gonna be so sad.
No, he's not. He gets we're just playing.
He's gonna be like, man, I fucking beat the shit out of a seal. It is so funny when killer whales live up to the name.
Yeah.
Like in the wilds, not.
Oh, you know what I fucked up?
Not in that awful dog.
Dolphins.
Dolphins are ridiculous.
We don't need to get into them.
Awful creatures.
They just live their lives carefree and yeah. Toby asks, and we got some fandom questions.
Okay.
Hi John, Neve, and Brian. Mostly Brian because, let's be real, only Brian reads these.
Oh my god. Toby.
Do you?
Toby,
right.
that is mean and true.
I had a few quick questions on the topic of fandoms. Have any of you been in a fandom? Let's start with that one.
I mean, what constitutes being in a fandom?
Like, I guess I really like One Piece, and I sometimes dip in and out of the fandom, but I wouldn't say I'm actively participating in it.
No, I've always been a fandom lurker.
Yeah.
Like, I've done... Like, yeah, I will get into a fandom when it's active, and I'll read the fan fiction, and I will like the fan art and retweet the fan art, but I never, like, contribute to it, and I never post.
Yeah.
Like, the most I'll do is be like, I like your fan art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a fascination with fandoms from a distance, but like I'll get real into them if I'm like covering a fandom in a video. But other than that, like whatever comes my way, I'll be like, oh, cool. But like, I think enjoying things is kind of solitary to me a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I like the Kirby fandom because there's the lore stuff, but I follow a couple of Kirby accounts, and all they do is they will just tell you when there's a Kirby related announcement, whether that's a video game or an event or a merchandise or whatever, and I find that stuff useful.
So Wooly told me about him. He didn't say who it was from, but he told me when he started doing his Kirby lore videos, he got an email from some guy going, "Hi, I'd like to welcome you to the Kirby fandom space, and just want you to know that while I have criticisms, I appreciate what you're doing for the community, but..."
Cool. That's
Helpful.
That's a later question we'll get to.
Okay.
What would a John/Brian/Nia fandom look like? Let's talk about the John fandom first.
Okay, yeah, sure, go for it.
It exists.
Yeah, it already exists.
Yeah. I guess so.
They exist, and we have our thoughts on them. The Brian fandom.
I feel like all these fandoms exist.
I don't know.
But what do they look like? Like,
Okay, forget eye patch wolf stuff. Just John, let's fight a boss stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so they're guys who talk about their body and their eating habits.
I have girl fans.
Guys, I mean,
Did you just make a face, Neve?
I know I didn't. That's
You
just my
did.
face.
Neve, I could drop some devastating statistics on you that would ruin you.
sorry, I meant guys in the sense of humans. Humans with a Z at the end, okay?
That's what I meant.
Super Eye Patch Wolf has such a higher percentage of female fans than Let's Fight a Boss.
Does it?
By a wide margin.
Because they're weird and horny.
Damn it.
I know. I was shocked, honestly.
Hell yeah. What do they look like, though? Are they all wearing, like, tracksuits with the hoods up? Are they cross?
But you don't get, like fandoms don't have uniforms. It's not like we're gone past new metal.
I think we need to take this question to the extreme. I think Brian fandoms are a bunch of people just wearing Kirby-inspired clothing. Sometimes it's official Kirby clothing. Sometimes it's literally just like bright pink colors. They're all happy all the time. They all share their online deals with each other. This is what's happening.
That's a good answer.
Yep.
The Nia fandom is just a bunch of girls poeting at each other non-stop.
You're LGBTQ and you have depression. Welcome. You really like animals. And you're good at cooking.
I get the feeling that that's like 50% of Let's Fight a Boss.
Welcome to the Neve fandom.
Your best friend is a bird.
Do you have a slight substance abuse issues? Welcome.
Oh.
Sometimes we get questions and it makes me like introspective in ways that kind of fuck me up. Does that ever happen to you guys? Because I don't know what kind of person likes me.
I don't think about things anymore. I've just stopped. I don't get anything from it anymore. I just stop thinking.
Just joke all the time.
Yeah, it's like this. If I was to dwell on this, it would I would get there. So I just I don't know. I just turn it off, John. Just turn it off.
It'll make it last.
Pretty peaceful.
If you could completely erase one fandom, what would it be? For me,
oh, there's so much shit I could say right now.
Okay, I want to erase Star Wars fandom. Neve, they've done more bad than they've done good.
You're right. You're so right.
And their feedback has deviated movies.
You're right.
And TV shows and it has.
You're so right.
It's caused a lot of damage.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker exists because of fandom.
Okay, and then you get individual cases of people's personal safety at risk.
Yeah, racism.
It's just all the worst aspects of humanity are there.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, I think
Star Wars.
Fucking Star Wars.
But is that Star Wars specific, or is that just because it's the biggest fandom?
No, there's something about Star Wars, and I think it's
a really old, bitter fandom.
Yeah, it's like...
And real Star Wars fans don't even like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
they only like the first one.
There's something so weird and negative about Star Wars. That's why I hate being negative about stuff in Star Wars fandom, because it's just I feel like I'm falling prey to the fandom.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of the original fandom, right?
Star Trek, I guess.
I think Star Trek, and then maybe something like Lord of the Rings.
But I mean, Star Trek never... obviously Star Trek was fucking huge, but then you compare it to something like Star Wars. I feel like you have to be into sci-fi to like Star Trek.
Star Trek has really standed the test of time. And it's a thing where, grandparents and grandchildren. It's a family thing with Star Trek. Like there are writing circles where the grandma wrote in the 60s and now the granddaughter writes in the 2020s, and there's communities around that.
I feel
Star
like
Trek's really
the
interesting.
message to Star Trek generally is just like
It's a positive one.
Yeah, it kind of stops toxic fandom in its tracks a little bit. I'm sure it's there, but with Star Wars, there's such an exceptionalism like root to it that like, and there's such like sense of ownership to parts of it that it just kind of gets a bit rank really quickly, which makes me really sad.
What's another? Okay.
This is a side question too, Brian.
Yeah.
How about video game fandom?
Hey,
God of War.
oh yeah, is that
Yeah,
a bad
God
one?
of War 2018. Like the fandom has just kind of become a little crazy lately. Looking for Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, that game.
Okay, not God of War. I'm sure they're fine. Just console fanboy fandom.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah,
shit's
yeah.
just insane.
I think that's what I mean.
The
Yeah, that's
console
kind of like-
wars,
crazy.
and like it's always replaced with 2 different consoles.
I felt like that died off for
Yeah,
a
me
while,
too.
It
and
did.
then
Yeah.
like in the last year, not even with the launch of the new consoles, but in the last year especially, I feel like it's come back so hard, and it's like, don't fucking cheerlead for big corporations, like.
Yeah.
You can have your favorite console. That's totally normal. But like, it's like the fighting. It's like under any post. It's like, you don't have Game Pass. It's like, oh, there's nothing in Game Pass. It's like it's the same shit over and over and over again, and it's just really lame.
So I don't want to say like the anime fandom in general, because I mean, like, there's a lot of nice people in the anime fandom and there's a lot of good stuff that comes out of it. There is a particular corner of it that is so insanely protective of just the concept of anime that it feels so divorced from any like genuine appreciation or critical examination of an artistic merit that it is like exhausting to talk to. It's the kind of thing where it's like every series is amazing and you can't say it's not, and anything, if you say it's not, it's like, well, you know, culturally in Japan, and it's like, no, like, I just don't think the Titty Fox is a good character, you know. And I find that side of anime fandom really exhausting to deal with.
Fandoms are stupid.
It also, in a weird way, is like also the part of anime fandom that is like also crosses over super alt-right. Not sure what the Venn diagram is there, and like definitely not all, like clearly not anyone who enjoys anime, but this hyper-specific subsect that I find really,
Who likes the purity and simplicity of things?
I don't know what they like. I don't think they really know.
I think it's people who take like criticism as just personal attacks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
ultimate. I think that's, you could boil this question down to, right?
Absolutely. Like who's the most offensively defensive about their favorite thing?
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, just being a woman in the gaming space, it's like, I just don't bother with it anymore because it's like, I have so much fun talking about games with people, but then you say some fucking milquetoast opinion, like, just like, you're just like saying something and like people will just attack you for it, and it's just really, it gets really fucking boring because it's like you're not even giving any room to really talk this out or explore ideas. It's just like you have to like the thing full stop, or you have to dislike the thing full stop, and there's just like
Or
not
just
a
say
lot of...
nothing and avoid it.
Yeah,
And, like, at various
and that's what I
points,
do now. I just
feel
don't
like,
bother.
At various points, I feel like I've tried to meet those people like 70%, 80%, 90%, 95%. It's never enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's always like just this crazy, you have affronted the thing I love. And it's like at the end of the day, you should be able to say you think a fucking game or anime is shit or whatever. Like, who fucking cares? I mean, all the fucking shit happening in the world, there's worse shit than that, but I don't know. I try not to get like too annoyed, but sometimes it's like, my god, dude, how fucking small is your life? This is the thing, like, you're losing your shit over. This is the thing you're like attacking people over. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Like the word fan is short for fanatic, and that kind of tells you everything you need to know.
You shouldn't like anything.
No. Just be sort of like quietly neutral on everything.
But yeah, it's a good way to go.
Yeah. Yogurt head at once. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, the movie Titanic, 5 out of 10. Cats, 5 out of 10. Mona Lisa, 5 out of 10. Stars, 5 out of 10.
Did someone attack the Mona Lisa? Or did I miss?
Someone
cake?
put cream or something on it.
But they hit like the
glass,
Mona Lisa's
yeah.
defensive shields.
Oh, yeah.
Her AT field.
Yeah, her AT field.
Rejected the cake.
I love when rappers take photos of themselves beside or in front of the Mona Lisa. Like, there's a really good one of 50 Cent with the Mona Lisa, and like, he knows it's an important painting and he's with it, but he's just like, here's your picture. Like, I don't know.
It's really small.
Yeah. The Louvre's a very good museum, and the Mona Lisa is like the least interesting part of that museum.
Yeah, well, that happens in every museum.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like,
The sculptures in that museum are amazing.
I can't remember the one that has Starry Night, but everyone was just packed into the room to see
Mona?
Starry Night. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, and it's just like, man, there's so much good stuff around here, but like, everyone needed their selfie with Starry Night.
Yeah.
I love Starry Night so much, Neve. And for you to say that, that's my impression of it.
I feel
Van Gogh
so
fan.
bad for like the security staff, you know, who have that chair and they have to kind of like sit down, but then like stand up when someone like weird walks in.
How often do you think you have to be one of them and you have to be like, would you mind stepping back a bit?
Okay.
Because I bet that's like dozens of times a day.
I went to the MoMA with my dad, the San Francisco edition. My dad kept touching the fucking paintings. My dad would be like, look at the texture, you can see the brushstrokes. And my dad would like go up and start rubbing it. And I'd be like, don't do that. And once or twice he like set off an invisible like wire that went, "Whoa!" and I had to pull him back, and I was like, you can't do that. You keep walking into it. And he's like, I'm not that close to the paintings, Brian. And I was like, you are.
Arms going up.
And so at one point, and I really appreciate the patience of the staff, and most of the staff were like older retired people who obviously did this 1 or 2 days a week, because it's a good job if you're retired but you still want to be on your feet, and it's chill most of the time except when my dad's at the museum. But at one point he was touching one painting, and the security guy was like a very tiny old man who like grabbed my dad's hand, and my dad like turned his hand into a handshake, and then they shook hands and locked eyes, and my dad went, okay. So that's fandom.
Wow.
That's so weird. And
This was like 3 years ago. This
I
wasn't
know.
even that
Yeah,
long.
I think this is like my third time hearing that story, but I just love it.
He was so bold.
The physicality of someone grabbing your hand and you turning that into a handshake.
Yeah, but like it was like two men holding hands, and they had to just sort of agree on something. So they did, and it was just this really sad masculine thing. And it was my dad's fault. 100%. And I was so embarrassed, and I'm never embarrassed around my dad. But like once in a while he'll just do something, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not related to you right now. Good parents.
Patreon shoutouts. Okay.
Patreon. No. Shut the fuck up.
What?
Patreon.com.
I was leading into the bit.
Shut
Brian.
the fuck up, Brian.
Our flow is all
Shut
messed
up,
up.
Brian.
Okay, look, we're just gonna roll past it. Neve, you got $3.
No.
No, you do. You sold that Tomb Raider CD.
I've got many threes.
Okay, yeah, sell that Tomb Raider CD and then subscribe to Let's Fight a Boss for 350 years. Okay?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yep.
Patreon.com/LFAB.
We listen, guys.
You'll get a podcast whenever.
Yeah.
We're trying so hard.
We're trying so it's so
We're
hot.
trying so hard,
And like,
yeah.
look, I'm gonna be real right now. Me and Neve agreed not to tell Brian before the podcast. We both still have COVID, real fucking bad. Okay,
I
Brian's
just go to the bank tomorrow.
Brian's gonna get. You'll be fine for tomorrow. It's Sunday. I'd worry about Sunday.
I've
Yeah.
seen Cirque
Yeah.
du Soleil on Sunday.
No,
You're
you
gonna get
ain't.
them
No,
all
you
so
ain't.
sick, Brian.
Yeah.
I don't want this. They're doing acrobats and stuff.
It's gonna hit them when they're in the
Oh
air.
yeah, Brian. You're gonna see some people tumble from the sky and just fucking splat.
I was meant to see Cirque du Soleil July 2020, but for some reason it got delayed.
Who's to say?
It got delayed for COVID, and let me tell you, it's about to be delayed for COVID again.
Jesus.
Is this the sexy one?
No, this is just the
normal one?
Yeah.
The normal Cirque du Soleil?
What's the sexy one again?
I don't know. It's Cirque du Soleil and it has another word, but I don't know what
Yeah,
that
there's a
word is.
sluttier
It
one.
might be... Because I remember there was a joke in Simpsons where someone's like, I'm at Cirque du Soleil, and then it's like an acrobat just fucking thrusting.
Okay, hang on. No, that's not my ticket.
Type in slutty Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil Courtio.
Oh.
It
Sounds
could be.
slutty.
It could be. They could be courting one another, or it could be they're in court.
It's like just...
That raccoon's fucking up that iguana real good. Sorry, Neem, show me the picture of the raccoon.
Yeah, I like, he literally looks like he's screaming at
Yeah.
me.
It's like-
No,
Oh, you made it really big.
That is not a loot drop.
why would anyone do Patreon
I really,
plugs
really,
this?
really liked raccoons until I saw that video, and then I went,
I'm becoming a big fan of possums.
possums are cute.
They're so cute.
Their teeth scare me.
Michelle's a bit like that as well. She's like, really? This?
But I
And I'm
really like the mama possum with all the babies hanging off her back.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I think that's really sweet.
Patreon.com/LFAB.
Neve, want to read this first one out because I put your name beside it?
Do you love quality and perfect timing?
Well, that's why we have an editor. We need to pay our editor, Oni. This is why we have a Patreon, because otherwise this podcast would sound...
Yeah, I'll go out and say right now, if you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast, that is 100% down to Oni. Thank you, Oni.
a very good editor.
Yep.
Okay, this is from Alt, and they say, all right, here's my shootout. We're in June 2021, and the year of the Dark Queen really is the best arc of the podcast.
And that was from
Oh my god,
Did that happen?
from April 2020.
So, I still think back to my heist of the century when I made you guys believe that you'd won Game of the Year. And I still think that's probably my finest creative moment ever.
It was so mean. Jack Hates says, I miss the early day audio sometimes. We used to record that on an
Why?
iPad.
I actually get that because when I started
Quaint.
watching Yu Yu Hakusho originally, the codecs were so fucked up that whenever the music kicked in, it would go like... And I was like, oh shit, that sounds really real. And then when I got like DVDs, it was just like a trumpet. And I was like, oh, that's not the same.
You like the jank. Johnny, you got this next one, and it's real cringe.
Could each of you say poggers really intensely? This is definitely a 2020 email.
This is from Alderan.
Your choice of whether it's dramatic, sensual, angry, or other form of intense. Neve?
Poggers.
Brian?
Poggers.
Poggers.
Oh no. Neve, this one's yours.
This is from Lockbreaker.
The-
Say
The
Irish.
Eggening.
Oh, the Eggening.
Yes.
Lockbreaker, the Eggening. Say.
What's wrong?
It's just really hard to say. And
Irish, where the fuck?
yeah. Say Irish wrist watch 5 times fast.
Okay, go for it.
I don't like things that
We all
fuck with my
gotta
accent.
do it. We all gotta do it.
Okay, it's for the $3. Irish wrist watch.
I'm going to have the hardest time with this one.
Irish wrist watch. Irish wrist watch. Irish wrist watch. Irish wrist watch. Oh.
Okay.
That's 5, right?
Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch.
Good enough, Brian. Irish wristwatch, Irish Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch. Close enough.
Lockbreaker, the Eggening.
You
That
got
was
us.
cruel.
You got us.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, toy cake. Can I get John to make direct eye contact with Brian and say you're so big and I'm so very small? Fucking goddamn it. Why do people ask for this stuff?
And draw it out, okay?
Wait, what was it? Okay, This is see. This is one of those things I don't know. Are we like fulfilling someone's fantasy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at Brian. Do I have to say it a particular way?
I don't know, but they're definitely looking at each other.
Yeah, you gotta say it.
Just make it sexy.
Yeah. Give me a feeling. I want to feel it in my loins.
Okay. Okay, god damn it. Brian, I die. You're so big, and I'm so very small. Do you like that, Brian?
You may or may not have a side account that pledges to the Patreon. I don't know. No, this dude, Toy Cake, fucking get it. You know how to make a man cry.
Brian, you are way too excited about this.
Last one is from me on Nameless Love. Can't I get a shout out to my buddy on Twitter? He's a really amazing artist and a huge inspiration to me. Who's your...
Yeah, he could definitely use the support.
He could definitely
no
use
link.
But what's the Twitter?
Who's the buddy?
What's the Twitter account?
Oh no.
No.
I went... No, I definitely did.
I think I may be behind this.
Did you delete it?
I think I accidentally deleted it because I looked this person up on Twitter and they do have good art.
Okay, no. I'm going on Discord. I'm getting this. I'm writing around.
Okay, while you do that, Neve, what say we head into Loose Drop?
Okay. We are in Loot Drop.
We're in Loot Drop.
It's where we drop some loot.
And sometimes we just don't get any loot and we can't drop it. You know, the idea that we're the ones dropping loot implies that we're the ones who are dead at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, I never really thought about that.
It's really sad.
No, well, it's the idea that we're beating a boss, which is
no,
the
Neve,
podcast.
the audience killed us. Okay. We're dead.
Okay, what fell out of me this time is... I've been like, you know... deadline hell, so you just watch something with a lot of videos, and I've been watching a guy called Froggy Flips, who basically goes around to antique and boots and garage sales and buys a whole pile of junk and then resells it.
That sounds cool.
It's quite engaging when, you know, you're sitting at a desk, you get to see a man outside and you get to hear to the banter of American people selling crap for like, here's a vinyl for $1, and you're like, you could never get a vinyl for €1 in Ireland.
I got 2. The first off, no wrestle talk this week. No discussion of Forbidden Door. No discussion of what Christian may or may not be doing right now. And that is because I appeared on the Power Bombcast. That's Giant Bomb's wrestling podcast. And I appeared with my friends John Ochoa, Dan Riker, and all the people over there. So if you want to hear me talk about Forbidden Door, that's where you can do it. I also found a really weird little documentary that's just on YouTube called Camp Hollywood. And basically, this no-name comedian went and stayed at this really weird Hollywood motel where a lot of up-and-coming actors are. And it's just him documenting his life there for 2 months. It's really amateur. He seems like kind of a creep, but it was a really fascinating, like, I guess like this whole thing of like, this is like this transient space for these people. They're all there wanting to go for something else, but they don't have anything else because they're all broke actors, and the kind of community that forms there and like how they come and go. And I found it just like really nostalgic and interesting, and it's available for free on YouTube. Camp Hollywood. It's good. It's a good one to stick on in the background.
Cool. Sorry, Neil, before I do mine, did you have a video in particular from Froggy Flips?
No, just the channel.
Okay, just the channel. Okay, then I have Shred's Shop, which is a skateboard shop in Calgary. John, I'm sure you went there.
Oh yeah, I went to every shop in Calgary.
Yeah, like
there's 6.
Yep. Yeah, there's 6. Obviously, you would go to the skate shop. And this is a skate shop that has a YouTube channel, and it's actually a very good YouTube channel. This is on 50 skateboard logos and the story behind the brands. I love skateboard logos. They're super interesting, and this dude just breaks down 50 of the most popular ones. That's just a ghost. John, it's okay. I don't know what I'm going to say next, but images are cool, and sometimes they look even cooler on a skateboard.
I love images.
Then, that Twitter account that we didn't have, I now have. It's at Vitamin Neko, so guess what? That now gets a loot drop. Is that fair?
That's fair.
That's fair.
I'm sorry I deleted your Twitter thing, Vitamin Neko. It's only because I'm clumsy and a fool.
Yeah, it's just a general loot drop from all of us. I don't know what this art looks like, but I'm sure it's as good as Cocoon, which is the greatest game ever made. So
go check it out.
Yeah.
You find out.
We don't know. We're not responsible. Here's our name attached to it. But we're not responsible.
And that's Let's Fight a Boss. I think my voice is going.
Same. Are we at 100%? Absolutely not. Was this our best episode? No.
This episode is the worst name ever.
Yeah. Secret of NIMH.
No, Sink Pisser 5000.
Oh yeah, Sink Pisser 5000. It has a name worthy of its content.
Yeah.
Just please stick with us. We'll get back into the flow.
Listen, we'll be back in 2 weeks, and I guarantee way better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, I'm not going to hype it up, but the next episode's going to be perfect.
I'm going to reveal a dark secret.
Yeah. Like, Neo's got 2 guns.
And will I have sold that album? No.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.